with everything.
Chat.
And so I want to welcome
It's
all
not
of
on my
you.
end, right?
And if everyone can go ahead and mute their lines.
Your chat.
I'll take care of it. Okay. Well, again, welcome everyone to Opportunities Outlook 2022. I'm so thrilled that you're here with us this morning for a dynamic session to hear about upcoming opportunities, whether it's bid opportunities, education opportunities, funding opportunities as it relates to DBE contracts, DBE, opportunities, and then also opportunities to expand your business. This is about opening up the conversation about your business development strategy. And so every year, the Urban League, we host this event again to get you in the mindset of working on your business development strategy for the upcoming year and beyond. And so we want to make sure that you are thinking about the opportunities that are becoming available and start connecting with those organizations, those primes, those government agencies, and other procurement agents to make sure that you are connected so that you can get yourself prepared to bid. And that's one of the things that is a focus for us at the Urban League. We are working to make sure that businesses prepare themselves, that our businesses prepare ourselves to bid on these contracts. And so that is the space that we're in. We have an extremely packed schedule, and I'm excited about that because I want to thank all of the organizations that have stepped up to the plate and said, hey, yeah, we have opportunities to share. And also we want to make sure that businesses know how to contact us, how to get in touch with us, how to explore the opportunities that we provide. And so I want to thank all of our presenters today. It's a long list of you all, but I appreciate you. So we are going to jump in. I want to first start off by going through the brief agenda with you, briefly go through the agenda with you. So I'll share a little bit about our programs at the Urban League of Louisiana, then we'll jump right into our prime contractors. So we have Woodward today, we have Gibbs, we have Spartan, Broadmoor, Landis, and Kiewit Bow. And so these organizations are going to share with you information about their upcoming bid opportunities and how to connect with them on these opportunities and others. And then as we go throughout, we may, so Brittany's going to manage the Q&A, but I want to make sure that, if you have a question at every interval after every speaker, please go ahead and put it in the question section. If we have time, we'll go ahead and address that question. If not, we'll do it at the close of the segment or the day. So again, go ahead and put your questions in the questions box or the chat section of your GoToWebinar panel. So please don't hesitate to ask questions there or ask for additional information on anything that you hear. So again, that's the first part of the agenda. Then we're going to go into our government agencies and others. So we have LADOTD, we have GOSEP, we have the City of New Orleans Office of Supplier Diversity. We have the City of New Orleans, their Project Delivery Unit, which is about sustainable infrastructure programs and blue-green infrastructure programs. And then we'll have the Morial Convention Center, we'll have NOLA Public Schools, the RTA, Aptum's Energy Smart Program, New Corp, and True Fund Financial Services. And so again, we have a pretty packed agenda, but we are going to move through it. You will get access to these slides later today. So we want to make sure that they're finalized, but we do want to make sure that you have access to this information. We want to make sure that you have access to how to get in touch with all of these organizations. So jot down your questions, take some notes, but just know that you will be getting access to the slides. Also make sure that you, in the document section of your GoToWebinar panel, you can see the agenda. So you can go ahead and follow using that document as well. So with that, I'm going to get us started so we can jump right into our schedule. But again, I want to thank you all for being here. So a little bit about the Urban League of Louisiana. You guys know, and some folks don't, but we are one of more than 92 affiliates of the National Urban League, headed up by former Mayor of New Orleans, Mr. Morial. We are in the business of supporting African Americans and other underserved communities by making sure that they have access to resources for economic parity, social justice, and economic resilience. And so we do that in 3 ways here at the Urban League of Louisiana. We have a Center for Education and Youth Development. We have a program centered around public policy and advocacy, and of course our Center for Economic Development, which includes our entrepreneurship programs and workforce development programs. I always like to share this at the top of every session that we have, because I want you all to know that there are many spokes to this wheel. When we focus on equitable outcomes, when we focus on programs that are specific to underserved communities, we work again across these initiatives. And so if you have again this kind of concept, I'm thinking about this concept that we have and that we utilize, which is called collective impact. And so we want to make sure not only that we're impacting our small businesses, but also impacting our families, our youth, our children within our families, and also looking at it from a policy perspective. So again, if you have any questions or want to learn more about the Urban League, you can visit our website, or you can just give me a call. But our website is urbanleaguela.org. urbanleaguela.org. So our Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, so we established kind of this umbrella organization in 2019 because we expanded some of the services that we provide to support small businesses. So our Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation includes 3 major programs. That is our Women's Business Center, which is a part of the SBA's Office of Women's Business Ownership. We're more than now one of 142 women's business centers across the country, providing resources to everyone, but of course a targeted focus on our women-owned businesses. We also have our Contractors Resource Center, which a number of you are familiar with. We work to provide mastery level training through the direction of our contractor specialist, Mr. Frank Johnson. But we work to make sure that our contractors, specifically our DBE contractors, minority and other diverse groups, have access to the resources, education, and skills training that you need in order to become vendors of choice. And so that's the space that we're in for contractors. In addition to that, we serve as the consultant for the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for the Dbe Supportive Services program within Region B, which includes Districts 2 and 61. So we are working with the DOTD to make sure that our DBEs have access to technical assistance and have access to the opportunities. Again, positioning ourselves to bid. And so that is the work that we do. We again provide training, counseling services, and access to resources. So that is who we are. And these services, are low to no cost. So in the past, 2 years, all of our programs have been no cost based on the funding provided by a number of our partners. So that's a good thing for our DBE. So I always say, take advantage of the resources and make sure that you attend as many trainings as possible, because again, these are offered at no charge, and is the same thing with our counseling services. So just wanted to bring up a couple of things. If you are interested in business development, if you are working on developing your growth plan, if you are working on developing your scaling plan, if you are looking to work on how you're going to get to your business to the next level, I encourage you to reach out to us. Again, we have a number of programs, and we'll send you these slides, so we won't have to go through everything here, but I want to make sure that you understand that there are resources for you. If you're a contractor and you are looking for, resources to scale, I want you to reach out to us. We are preparing our schedule for 2022, and there are a number of things that we're going to be offering in addition to what we've traditionally offered. But we focus in on getting past the surface of starting a business. And what we focus on, especially when it comes to our contractors, is capacity building. And we focus on making sure that our businesses not only are able to bid, but they're able to perform well on projects and manage contracts effectively. And but to get there, we got to work on electronic scheduling, electronic estimating. We have to work on bid prep. We have to work on project management. We have to work on understanding and managing our financials and building our financial acumen when it comes to running our businesses. And so I want to make sure that you all know about some of these things, some of these classes. And so please, again, feel free to reach out to us. On our DBE supportive services work that we do with the DOTD, again, it's the same construct of what we do normally, but it's our counseling services, capacity building, coaching, helping businesses that are not certified get certified. We work with businesses on obtaining funding and getting bonding. And also we have, I'll talk a little bit about this on the next slide, a 2-year business development program that we're getting ready to launch again in February of 2022. And then, of course, access to opportunities. But we're getting ready to launch our 2-year program for business development. So I encourage you, if you are interested in doing business and seeking opportunities on highway construction projects, I encourage you to reach out to us and get connected to this program. But it is a 2-year business program where we focus on workforce development. We focus on business development, capacity building, specifically for those that are ready to do business with DOTD. And so again, want to invite you all to connect with us on that. So it is a selection process. So we go through all of our applicants to see, who has the highest potential to and are ready to go with bidding on projects and winning projects, and working with us to assist them in winning projects. And so I want you guys to stay connected. If you're interested, please reach out to myself or Frank Johnson with the Urban League of Louisiana. So applications for that are coming up soon. So these are some of our other programs. I want to make sure that folks kind of know the scope of what we do. So if you have your peers or someone in your community that is looking for opportunities for entrepreneurial development, feel free to reach out to us. We have programs for startup businesses. We have programs for businesses that are scaling. We launched this year a Black Restaurant Accelerator program with the PepsiCo Foundation. And of course, all of our women's programs. We will continue our Women in Construction programming next year. And so again, if you see anything here that interests you or that you think would interest anyone that you are connected to, please feel free to reach out. So connect with us, follow us on social media. I can tell you that just this week, I might have posted maybe 2 microgrants programs for small businesses on our Facebook page and Instagram and LinkedIn. So follow us on social media, because that's where you're going to get access to a lot of the opportunities that we can provide and that we are sharing from local and national organizations and partners. So please feel free to connect with us. Please feel free to email us. So coming up in 2022, I'm excited about all of this programming. We are in the strategic planning phase of we're getting ready for 2022. One of the things that's important to us is working with businesses to continue to really position your business to take advantage of the blue-green infrastructure projects that are going to be available through the city of New Orleans and other entities. So we in the past have already hosted our GPro training, which is a green professional building skills training by the Urban Green Council. This program is developed to, again, make sure that buildings operators, those that are in construction, understand the process of building sustainable buildings. And so the second thing, which is a new thing, is our GPro construction management. So I'll go through a little bit about that, and I'm moving fast. So, but this information will be made available to you. So we're going to provide GPro again, which is a 14-hour certificate program, and it is for those that are, really looking at strategies, right, to reduce your energy usage and and also making sure that buildings are not only sustainable but safe. And so we want to make sure that folks have access to this training, but it's about building performance. And so if you're in this space and you're thinking about how I can differentiate my business, right? How I can get my business to the next level, how I can open up opportunities for my business, how I can take advantage, right, of new opportunities as it relates to blue-green infrastructure, I want you to think about the GPro training and stay tuned for when it's launching in 2022. This is a new one that we're launching. It's a one-day program, but it's for really looking at sustainability best practices and actionable strategies for all phases of construction. So you can see there what's going to be included in that training, but I'm excited about that one because I think that one hits home to opening up the conversations around strategy and strategic direction when it comes to your construction business. And so I want to make sure that everybody, again, pays attention to when that comes out. But we're looking at sustainability process. We're looking at documentation requirements. We're looking at building the right team, right, to implement these projects, communications plans. But we're talking about those pre and post construction activities for building, again, high performance buildings. So again, I want you guys to think about it, and I want you guys to be thinking about how you position yourselves, again, to take advantage of some of these programs. Later in the presentation, you're going to hear from Mary Kincaid with the city, who's going to talk about the infrastructure projects that are coming, that are really in the pipeline right now for the city. And so she's going to talk about that. So pay attention to what they are looking for. And I'm again excited about where we are with that, and we're moving along in that process to creating a sustainable environment. So happy about that. One other thing before we move on, I wanted to make sure that you guys, I introduced this program to you. We are working with Bid Connect USA to launch and be a part of their portal for access to opportunities. So this is where organizations in our DBEs will be able to go to identify opportunities, not just here, within New Orleans or within, the Hammond area or within the region, but nationally and globally. So you can become a part of this site as well. And so we'll keep you posted on what this looks like. But this is a network platform connecting corporations, government agencies with small businesses. So again, we're going to be launching this next year. And I want you guys to, consider thinking about where you connect with opportunities, expand that, right? And this is an opportunity for you to expand that. And so I want you all to be thinking about that. So looking forward to it. So with that, I know I said a lot very quickly, but again, we're going to make sure that you guys have access to these slides. I want to make sure that we stay focused on opportunities, upcoming opportunities for 2022, and some opportunities for beyond 2022. Again, I want to thank our prime contractors for being with us this morning, for taking the time out of your schedules and to do the outreach, to do the work of ensuring that our DBEs have access to the opportunities you're providing, and also have access to the information of how to connect with you. And so with that, I'm going to start off with Ms. Lauren Marshall, the Director of Diversity and Inclusion for Woodward Design Build. Lauren, I want to thank you so much for being here, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, Classy, and good morning, everyone that I can't see right now. I'm happy to be back on a computer for a change, and I'm talking to people. Looking forward to doing this in person next year. At Woodward, let me first say, we have probably 50 projects or more that we're actively looking at for the year 2022. However, we are, I was able to pull out a few that I know we can talk about today that are real opportunities for you to look at in 2022. One that I know that for certain we have is the Xavier University exterior envelope renovation. That we have already done the demolition bid on that, but the exterior envelope renovation is going to be coming up pretty soon here. That's roughly a $10 million project. The other one is a big one, is the Mercy Hospital that's being converted into the Mercy Senior Living. That's the Mercy Hospital on the corner of Jeff Davis and Bienville, if you're not familiar with it. That is a $62 million, between $62, $63 million project that Woodward will be developing. So that's a big project for you to look at. We have a couple of small hotels that I know we're going to be working on. I don't have the exact names, but those will be coming out this year. And a $7 million car dealership in Metairie. What else do we have going on? We have, well, we have provided, and I'm sure everybody's going to, all of primes are going to be talking about this one, but because you know that Charity Hospital is going to be, Tulane University is going to be doing work there. We have already provided pre-construction services on that project. So that's a big project coming out in 2022 for everyone to look at. And that was really quick. I usually talk a whole lot more, but right now for 2022, that's what we have going on. And if you have not done work with Woodward, or if you're not receiving bid solicitations from us, please email me directly at lmarshall@woodwarddesignbuild.com, and I'll be happy to get you the pre-qual form. Reach out to me if you want to talk about these upcoming projects or about doing work with Woodward. Please email me at that email address. Again, it's lmarshall@woodwarddesignbuild.com. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Lauren. That's L. Marshall. Absolutely, absolutely. That's L. Marshall at woodwarddesignbuild.com, and we'll make sure that all of you have her email address and her contact information. I want to thank you for always stepping up and coming to the plate when it comes to supporting our DBE contractors and sharing information. So important, in this time, because we want to make sure that, with everything that everyone has going on, with all of the challenges, all of the ups and downs that our businesses have, access to connections to resources. And again, what I'm encouraging our small businesses, our diverse businesses to do is to get the support that you need so that you can start to examine these as opportunities and also get prepared to bid on these opportunities. So thank you so much, Lauren. And then is Ryan available?
Yes, I'm here.
So Ryan Myers, come on up. This is, and I'm sorry, we have on the agenda Jeff, but Ryan's going to take over for Jeff. Jeff Stolier. So Gibbs Construction is up. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being here. Take it away.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate today. My name is Ryan Myers. I'm in the pre-construction department here at Gibbs. Gibbs has an extensive background in partnerships throughout the region. Our approach to providing opportunities to the community is a continual effort and is spread across our entire organization. Of course, many of the opportunities are birthed in the pre-construction side of the company, but our entire organization is committed to the mentoring and training of our DBE partners. We include our DBE partners on all of our projects, not just ones that require participation. We take our role of mentorship very seriously and keep our doors open to our DBE partners. Once we establish a relationship with a vendor or a subcontractor, those subcontractors become part of the family and are included on all of our projects. And we really value those relationships that we create. I think, as always, communication is really the key to these healthy relationships in our community. We put a lot of energy into both our current relationships that we have, but also do our best to be proactive with vendors that we've not had the opportunity to work with yet, and really try to break down any obstacles or barriers that exist in the communications front. We want to make sure our doors are open all the time, and we have really an extensive history of projects that we've worked with DBE subcontractors. I wanted to make, I guess, two points that I think are important that come up. I think it's important for the general contracting community to be prepared to assist these companies when they are on a project and a problem comes up, to take the time to help them with whatever the issue is. Sometimes the smaller companies need certain types of assistance and coaching. And I think it's important to understand that when something comes up, that instead of moving on to a different company, or I think it's important, that's really where the learning happens for the smaller companies. And so we like to take the opportunity with those challenges to help them, and we really both learn through that. The second thing I think is important is really just understanding and helping some of the smaller companies with financial coaching. I was meeting with a good friend of mine that's been in the electrical industry for a long time, and he recently started his own company. And we were talking about just kind of going through some financial pre-qualification conversation, and we got on the topic of lines of credit, and I said, what kind of line of credit do you have? And he says, I don't have one at all. And that kind of surprised me a little bit. And I said, well, that, and his comment was, they've never needed one, so they don't have one. So I mean, I think that a lot of times there's coaching that can be provided to be proactive, to get ahead of issues, and to help coach these contractors and to avoid the pitfalls that do occur. So that's kind of some of our philosophies towards our mentoring process. We do have quite a bit of projects coming up in 2022 and trickling into 2023. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity to participate today and look forward to learning more through the rest of today's program.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate that. And how do our DBEs get in touch with you all to want to discover opportunities, but also to just connect with you all?
Yeah, I can give you my email address is rmyers@gibbsconstruction.com. And I would really encourage anyone to reach out, and we can certainly set up time for them to come in and meet with us and get to know our team better.
Awesome. Yep, that's what we want. So we want to encourage, and part of this, again, I think overall what I want to encourage businesses to do, and that's one of the reasons why, of course, we host this event, is I want us to get into the process of business development, right?
Yeah.
And so in order to do that, we need to understand, for our businesses, I'm speaking directly to our DBE firms and those, that are looking to become, certified. Thinking about, who you want to do business with, right? Looking at the types of projects that they've worked on, understanding, their approach to construction management, understanding the types of projects that they have in the pipeline, and understanding the dynamics of their organization and if it's a fit for you. There's a process, right? And there is, you want to make sure that you're learning more about the businesses that you are seeking out within your business development strategy. So again, that's why it's important to connect with these primes before there even is an opportunity, right? Because we want to make sure that you're getting to know these businesses and that they're getting to know you. But that goes both ways, right? So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to say to kind of piggyback on that a little bit is, the pre-qualification process that we have, it really is a two-way street. Where we have an opportunity where we might have a subcontractor that we're entertaining for a project, and we will set up a time to meet with them, to get to know their team, but it's also an opportunity for them to get to know us too. All companies are not perfect fits, and some companies have certain type of requirements that they have, and we want to have those conversations early, and it's definitely a two-way street to where the company that we're entertaining, they're entertaining us too.
That's right. Definitely. And so we want to make sure that like you said, our businesses understand that. It would also get connected to you all, and like I said, even before there's opportunities, get to know these organizations. But that takes prioritization of that, right? And that's why I encourage our businesses to have a business development strategy, because you have to prioritize this if you're going to grow and scale your business. And so thank you for that, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Spartan Building Corporation. And so with us is Mr. Clayton Crawford, project manager. And so, hi, Clayton. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
So a little bit about Spartan. We're sort of new to the hiring DBE companies, but we found out on our current project at Holy Angels off of St. Claude Avenue that these relationships that we've been building with these DBE contractors has been great. It's expanded our subcontractor list, and we're really looking forward to expanding this even more in next year. If you go to the next slide. So this is that current project that I'm talking about. It's Holy Angels. It was the old Holy Angels convent that we're turning into a 93-unit multi-living facility. And it's about 3/4 of the way in construction right now. And we're still actually looking for some more DBE participation and subcontractors. Next slide, please. As you can see, we finished a lot of the exterior work, and interior work is starting to finish now. And it's just something that we're really looking forward to trying to get finished up with some more DBE participation and contractors. So some of our open scopes of work, millwork, finished carpentry, drywall finish, paint, landscape lighting, fencing, and final cleaning. Some other work that we have coming up in 2022 is we have another similar project like this that's about a $20 million project in the city that we're really looking to expand again on our DBE contractors to help us with. If anyone has any input or available contractors that would be interested, I'd like them to reach out to me, Clayton at spartanbuilding.com, for any inquiries. Last show.
So Clayton at spartanbuildingcompany.com. So I want to go back to this slide really quickly. Like we have a couple extra minutes in this section. Show of hands, does anybody see themselves here in the scope of work? Because this is right now.
Correct.
Anybody? Show of hands in the chat. Excuse me, in the I'm looking for our attendees. Is there anyone that may be interested in any of these scopes of work?
And you're always welcome to email me as well if anybody does. Like I said, we're definitely looking forward to including some participation.
Absolutely. All right. So again, there is Clayton's contact information, his email address. Please feel free to reach out to them if you are interested in learning more about their current project, but also their projects coming up in the future. So this is good. I'm glad that you guys were able to connect with our DBE community. And again, we'll be making this information available to all of our participants at the end of the day. Thanks so much, Clayton.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And so up next, we have Mr. Nathan Hunter, who is VP of Pre-Construction for Broadmoor. Nathan, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you
Doing
well.
great.
Good.
Wonderful. Well, first off, Classy, thank you for having me and giving Broadmoor the opportunity to present here. We appreciate the relationship we have with the Urban League, and I know you help us with a good bit of outreach in our projects, and so thank you. Like you said, my name is Nathan Hunter. I'm the Vice President of Pre-Construction at Broadmoor. For those that don't know, we are a local general contractor here in the greater New Orleans area. We do everything from design, build, general construction. Most of our work, though, is a CM at risk format. You're not going to see us too much on the public bid sector. A lot of our work is negotiated, and we do a lot of pre-construction services. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the opportunities we had in 2021. Like I said, in working with the Urban League, we had a bunch of opportunities that came out: the Superdome renovation, the Recovery School District, Career Technical Institute at Curlerex Street. We're working on the Son of a Saint headquarters. That's a renovation and addition. The aquarium renovation, that's about to kick off. And we also have a large hospital at the Ochsner Clearview Medical Center on Veterans Boulevard. So in working with the Urban League and several other entities, we were able to touch base with a lot of new subcontractors and achieve a lot of our DBE goals on those projects. So appreciate what we did on 2021. So moving into 2022, what you'll see is this list here up on the screen. Broadmoor has a ton of projects, in the pre-construction process. The biggest one that everybody knows is the Superdome renovation. We still have the major 3 remaining years, which is called 3B. So that's the 2022, 2023, and 2024 scopes of work. So that has a little bit of everything. We have 2 two-lane projects, which are just breaking or kicking off in the pre-construction process. The Paul Hall School of Science and Engineering, and the Richardson Memorial Hall, which is the School of Architecture. That's a renovation and addition. We also are kicking off 3401 St. Charles. That's a HUD-funded project, multi-use facility, apartments, retail, parking. Another major project, RD&I, that's the River District Neighborhood Investors, Phase 1A. That is the Convention Center Development Project that you may have seen in the news over the last 3-4 months. That's going to be the first phase of that project: parking garage, retail, not assisted living, excuse me, housing. And then we also have upcoming project, St. Bernard project, phase 3. That's another multi-use facility. I think it's going to have about 40 units, apartment complex as well. And then last and not least, the Market Street development. That's actually going to be the renovation of the power plant downtown near the convention center, and converting that into a multi-use facility as well. So 2021 was a banner year for Broadmoor, and we have a ton of opportunities for 2022 and beyond. So we encourage everybody to reach out to us. The best way to get to me, as well as our entire pre-construction team, is to email estimating@broadmoorllc.com. That goes to everybody, and we will set up a time and meet with you if you have questions, or if you're new to us. We can definitely strategize with you on how we can figure out a game plan to work together on some of our upcoming opportunities. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we appreciate your continued efforts to make sure that we get the information so that our DBE community gets the information on your project. So I appreciate you and the team for your diligence in that, and so it's appreciated. I want to again make sure that our businesses, and speaking directly to our DBEs on the line, please reach out to these organizations and make sure that you are getting connected with them so that they can learn more about who you are, and that you can learn more about who they are and what opportunities they have coming up. And so this is a lot of work, right? This is a lot of opportunity. And so, getting yourself positioned for these opportunities is critical. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Nathan.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Up next, my friends at Landis Construction, Ms. Sarah Bush, who's our VP of Operations, and Jamie Kristovich, Chief Estimator. I'm so happy to have you guys here. Again, another partner who continues to make sure that our DBE community has access to opportunities through connecting with us and making sure that we are stayed abreast of their developments and the projects that they have going on and the opportunities for DBEs. And so want to invite them to take it away. Thank you so much, Sarah and Jamie.
Thanks, Classy, so much. And thank you to Urban League for having us on today. We're honored and privileged to be able to talk to everybody and give you a little bit of information about our upcoming projects. Again, my name is Sarah Bush. I'm Vice President of Operations. And I have Jamie with me. Jamie.
Hi, I'm Jamie Kristovich. I'm the Chief Estimator for Landis. Classy or Brittany, I'm sending you in the chat to organizer, because I don't have access to the chat to all the participants, our contact info. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us through our website at landisllc.com and click on the banner that says Working with Landis. And then you can also reach us at estimating@landisllc.com. And those are two quickest way to get in touch with us. So if you could go to the next slide, Sarah will walk us through a couple of the projects that we have in the outlook for 2021 or 2022. Sorry.
Thanks, Jamie. So this first one up are the renovations to the River Garden Apartments 1. It is in New Orleans, and the scope, as you can see, are exterior and interior repairs and upgrades to 296 existing residential apartments and 111 separate buildings that were originally constructed in 2005. So we will be undertaking the renovation of those. Right now, we are in the very early stages of pre-construction. We're projected to begin pricing exercises in the first quarter of 2022. Projected construction start is probably June 2022, and the size is about 8 to 10 million. And we've attached the trades at the bottom that will be instrumental in getting this project completed. So demolition, concrete, carpentry, roofing, finishes, stucco repairs, appliances, MEP scopes, and site work and landscaping. So we will be, as Jamie said, we'll be sending out invitations as we get closer for pricing exercises to start. And if you have not worked with us previously, as Jamie said, please make sure to get in touch and we'll get you included in our database. Can you go to the next slide? Oh, I think we skipped one. Maybe not. No? Okay, well, I'll do 714 Canal. So 714 Canal Street is another project we have upcoming. It's the renovation of an existing historic 5-story building on Canal into mixed use of commercial space and apartments, possibly short-term rentals. And we're projected to complete contract pricing in January of 2022. So we have another pricing exercise coming up very shortly. In January. The construction start is actually looking more like April. I have March here, but I think it's going to be more like April of 2022. And the projected size of the project is about 6 million. And all trades are to be wanted on this one. So if you are a subcontractor in any of those divisions, we will be looking for your input and participation for sure. Next slide. Jamie?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this. So this is a project that we were selected as a CMAR on, and it is just in the very early stages of design development. And so probably construction start would be in July 2022, possibly a little bit later than that. And it's a $12.8 million project. It is ground up construction. And so all trades would be needed for that project. It has a participation goal of 25%, and it is being managed by CSRS and is a culinary and workforce education building. So it'll have classroom, kitchens, and a lot of refrigeration equipment, and welding labs and electrical labs. A lot of specific requirements for all that infrastructure and construction. So excited about that, getting that project started. If you could go to the next slide.
Oh, I think we might have lost one of our slides.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but I have them pulled up so I can talk about this last project really quickly. It's PCH, Our Lady of Lourdes, the renovation and new addition of an existing school building on Napoleon Avenue. It's the renovation of this existing historic school and a construction of a new addition for adaptive reuse as affordable senior independent living. So it's projected to begin pricing exercises in the first quarter of 2022. We're going through a few VE, some VE right now with the design team trying to get those documents ready for pricing. Projected construction start is June 2022, and the projected project size is about 17 million. All of the divisions we're going to be looking for participation and from all divisions, all trades. So please be on the lookout for that one. That's going to be a great project. We're really looking forward to it.
And that's a HUD finance project that is in part anyway, that is going to have some pretty robust requirements for Section 3 participation, DBE participation, Davis-Bacon wages, pretty much the the max of what you would have for compliance on a job. So we'll definitely be working hard on that one.
Definitely. And Jamie, do you want to talk about other projects, these future projects coming up?
Sure. So we are about to start work on one phase of 4528 Ferret Street, which is the renovation of an existing building, and then a future project or a future phase of that project in 2022 later in the year would be construction of a new apartment building next to that site, which is currently a parking lot. And then Toro Shakespeare is the renovation of an existing historic building on the West Bank that's going to be turned into affordable housing. St. Bernard's Circle is going to be new construction, affordable housing, and Oceana Grill is going to be a project that we're working on design development right now in the French Quarter for some historic restoration of the existing building with Oceana Grill and some surrounding properties. So all of those will have plenty of trades where we'll need to get participation and plenty of scope to go around. So looking forward to getting rolling with those.
That's right. I appreciate you guys. I will, I'm sure I have the other slides, so forgive me. It probably just got lost in it. There's about 200 slides. So I'm sure I missed, it just got lost in the shuffle. So I will add it before we forward the presentation to our participants. So thank you for letting me know about that. But I appreciate you guys. This is pretty, to me, this should be exciting, so to be able to see and have a picture of what the upcoming opportunities are, and to know and understand that there's space right now, right, for us to kind of get into the fold, learn more about the opportunities, and get prepared to bid. And so again, I want to thank you all for, again, just your continued connection to us in terms of outreach and in terms of making sure that our DBE community is aware of the opportunities that you guys have. So I appreciate you guys, the entire team. So thank you guys so much for your continued partnership.
Thanks, Classy.
Thanks, Classy.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, up next, we have Q at Bow. So this is Q at Bow, AJV. So we have Mr. Hulon Harrison here, who's the DBE manager for this project. So I want to invite Hugh to come on and take it away to share more about this joint venture and this project that we are excited about moving forward into 2022 and beyond. So Hulon.
Good morning. And first of all, I'd like to thank Classy and her team with the Urban League for inviting us here today to present our information regarding opportunities with the Kiewit Bow joint venture. Many of you know the project is being the I-10 widening project, but it's actually the CMAR Construction Management at Risk project, which consists of a section, the phase 1 of the I-10 LA 415 Destin Lane on I-10 and I-12, which is short to be from the Mississippi River Bridge area going eastbound on I-10 to the split. Next slide, please. Today, representing our team, we have myself, Hugh Harrison, the DBE manager, and also joined by Nick Fleming, our leader with regard to DBE outreach and engagement. With regard to the team, we have two major players as part of the joint venture. That's Kiewit Corporation and Bow Brothers. I'll give you a brief on Kiewit, and Nick will support me with information on Bow Brothers. Kiewit Corporation brings nationwide experience of more than $7.1 billion in CMAR and design build projects 2019 alone. In addition, Kiewit Corporation subsidiaries have completed $3 billion worth of projects in Louisiana over the last 15 years. So I'll ask Nick to give us some information on Bow Brothers. Nick?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for having us, Classy. I'm Nick Fleming, and I'm the DBE Program Director for Bow Brothers, and I'll also be handling outreach and engagement for the Kiewit-Bow joint venture. And some of you may already be familiar with Bow Brothers, but for those who may not be, Bow has a long and successful history in highway, bridge, and road construction. We also have a very proud and proven track record of partnering with small and women-owned businesses throughout the region. We've been around for over 100 years and been able to bring predictable, superior results to our projects while what we like to say honorably serving our community. That's one of our core values. And one of the ways we do that is by partnering with the DBE community, and we're very proud of all of those relationships. I'll just add that we will be using a major subcontractor in James Construction, who will also be looking for DBE participation on this project. Next slide.
With regard to the project, first of all, thank you, Nick. For the project overview, the project, the I-10 LA 415 Nesson Lane on I-10 and I-12 Seymour project is the largest urban interstate reconstruction project in history of the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. The project consists of widening and reconstruction of the I-10 East and West Main lines from 4 to 6 lanes. The major improvements include bridge replacement and rehabilitation, interchange and ramp modifications, shoulder widening, and auxiliary lanes. Today we're discussing phase 1, and limits of phase 1 extend from the Mississippi River Bridge to Essen Lane on I-10. As you mentioned earlier, Kiewit and Bow Brothers Construction, a joint venture, is currently under contract as the construction manager of risk for services for phase 1, segment 1. Next slide, please. Project details continued. The owner is Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. The designer is Huval and Associates. Our team is the construction manager of risk as Kiewit Bow. The contract type is construction management at risk, known as CMAR. And for phase 1, the construction services budget is approximately $400 million. Anticipated start of early work packages will be Q4 of 2022. There's a very good goal with regard to Dbe Opportunities of 15%. You see in the picture on the screen, this is an overhead of the view of the opportunity, where the construction starts and where construction ends, starting right at the foot of the bridge and going over toward the total project to the split. Next page, please. This is the schedule which we need to pay close attention to. In November 2020, the LADOTD announced the selected CMAR contractor, which is the Kiewit Bow joint venture. We received our notice to proceed for pre-construction January 2021, and currently at Q4 2021, Huval and Associates is at the 30% design level stage. At Q2, which is early spring 2022, they'll be at a 60% design deliverable. At Q3, at 90% design deliverable, and at Q4, at 100% design deliverable. As mentioned earlier, we should start construction, the current plan, Q4 2022. Next slide, please. With regard to our goals and certification requirements, the Kiewit Bow team is committed to the 15% construction DB goals as established by the LADOTD for this project. Historically, Kiewit and Bow have a history of not just meeting the goal, but exceeding the goals as required by their client. Something we need to focus on as the DB firm must be certified by the Louisiana Unified Certification Program for participation to be counted toward established goals. For more information on the DB certification process and requirements, you can visit the DOTD website or contact the LA DOTD DBE SB Program Manager at the number listed on your screen. You can also get assistance from organizations like the Urban League with regard to certification needs and requirements. Next slide. Here's some information that I think will be very useful when looking at opportunities for this project. These are the current opportunities we've identified so far. This is just a snapshot of what's available in the first phase. This includes aggregate supply, buying a tie and rebar, electrical illumination, ITS systems, landscaping, items such as painting and sandblasting, saw cutting, signage, temporary and permanent striping, trucking, utilities, welding, and so forth. This is an abbreviated list of opportunities. For a complete list, you can go to our website, which will give information on that later on in the presentation. And we also encourage participation by local, small, and diverse companies seeking to provide services such as catering, printing, and office supplies. Next slide. What does it take to be successful and work with the Kiewit Bow team? We evaluate companies on different criteria based on specific project requirements. This may include, but not limited to, safety performance on past projects, proven quality, particular certifications if needed, insurance and bonding capacity, on-time performance, which is very important as we put together a schedule and want to maintain the schedule and stay under budget, years in business to give us an idea of your history, your experience, and some of the projects you worked on. Reputation. You deliver what's promised. Are you on time? Are you under budget? Do you add value to the team? And also, it's very important if you had past performance with Kiewit, Bow, the JV teams, or LA DOTD. Lastly, but not least, what do you bring to the team which may be unique or add value with regard to your products or services? And our all-encompassing theme, as you see at the bottom of this slide, is equity, inclusion, opportunity, and growth.
And
next slide.
Hugh, if I may just add,
Sure, Nick.
both Hugh and I are here and available, and as the forward-facing members of our DBE program, committed to meeting with these firms, people that are looking for opportunities on this project to help you with a lot of these things and get you prepared in the pre-construction phase so that when the time for bidding on these opportunities comes, you check most of those boxes. So I just want to let you know, don't feel that that's a deterrent for applying for any of these opportunities. These are things that we intend to help you with and partner with you on as we go through the pre-construction phase of this. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. As you've seen, you understand most of the project. You've met pieces of the team, Kiewit and Bow. You've seen some of the requirements for participation, also some opportunities for participation. What are the next steps? We have set up a questionnaire link to our website. So you visit our website, which is buildwithkbjv.com. You complete our subcontractor questionnaire. This is your opportunity to give us information, provide resumes, give us some history of your company, and also any particular items you need to give us so we can help evaluate and be more familiar with your firm. Next slide. The next step is to sign up for Building Connected to be part of our bidders list. You create an account with Building Connected. You see the information on how to create an account on the screen. And of course, these slides will be provided after the seminar. And once we had a chance to evaluate your firm and get a feel for your firm, you will receive an invitation to bid through Building Connected, and the bid package your company has been added to. Next slide, please. We want you to get connected, stay connected. As I mentioned, construction will start Q4 of 2022. We have time to get familiar with your firm. You have time to get your certification if you don't have it, or provide information we may need to have to evaluate your firm. So we've created a dedicated email address. It's I10CMAR outreach@kiwit.com. That's a centralized email. If you have any questions, concerns, or just want to communicate with our team, you will send information to that particular email address, and we'll respond to you quickly. And again, for your records, our website is www.buildwithkbjv.com. And also you see a Q code screen to your right, which you can scan, add us to your contacts. Is there anything you'd like to add, Nick?
Yeah, I'll just take the opportunity now to let you guys know that Bow Brothers separately will be looking at a lot of, in 2022, the infrastructure projects, specifically in the city of New Orleans with DPW. There's going to be a bunch of sewage and water board work coming out. So while we don't necessarily we haven't been awarded those projects yet, we anticipate bidding on many of them. We'll need good pricing from many of our DBE subcontractors on a lot of that. We look forward to partnering with you guys here locally on those projects, as well as this large I-10 project here in Baton Rouge.
Yes, and you will see, thank you, Nick, and you will see the Kiwit Bow team will be having we have seminars, technical assistance programs, and also hopefully have an in-person outreach event coming up in the spring. So this is one of many we've participated so far. The second one, I believe, with the Urban League, and we'll be having some outreach events hosted by Kiwit Bow going forward. So stay tuned, and you can always send us an email to find out when the next outreach will be, or check our website. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hugh and Nick. I appreciate that. I love that. Get connected, stay connected. And you guys really hit the nail on the head about making sure that you look at that our DBEs, our other diverse contractors and suppliers look at what are the requirements, right? And what does it take, and what do you guys need in terms of when you select a contractor, a subcontractor, a supplier. And so the question is, what do you need to do to position yourself, right? So it should not be a hindrance, if you can't check all the boxes right now. That's why we're doing this type of event, so that you can get positioned, so that you can start to go down that checklist to make sure that you are prepared when those opportunities become available. And so I appreciate you guys for sharing that and for making sure that our businesses are connected. If you are not, one other thing I want to bring up, if you're not familiar with CMAR, we this past year have hosted, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 sessions specifically on CMAR. And so if you are not familiar, please stay connected with us here at the Urban League, because we're going to be continuing to launch our outreach programs, which include an education component and we host those every month. And so specifically for DBE contractors. So if you are not familiar with the CMAR process, please make sure that you connect with us so that you can get connected to those trainings. And so with that, again, I want to thank Kiwit Bow. We are looking forward to supporting this initiative as as we work, of course, with the DOTD to make sure that we not only meet our DBE goal, but also exceed it. And so we are excited to be working with you guys on this and look forward to your future events for supporting DBE inclusion. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to bring up that you guys mentioned when we talk about additional it's not just about the construction project, but there's also some additional scopes of work or additional projects, right, and needs that you guys have as an organization. And so, this is the same for most companies, right? You're not just, if you're a construction company, but you also procure other items, right? And so I was looking in the questions section, and I think it was Courtney Francois, she said, she has a coffee company and would love to service, you guys, and she's DBE certified. So, let's start to look at and expand, our reach when we talk about DBE inclusion, right? When we talk about inclusion of diverse suppliers, that's across, your sourcing organization, right? And again, not just about the construction piece, but also looking at other services that you provide. So I appreciate that. And thank you, Courtney, for putting that in the chat. And so she'll be connecting with you guys as well to see if there's any opportunity for her company. Another thing, yes, for everybody in the question section that is asking about whether the presentation will be emailed, yes, we'll make sure that the email gets the presentation gets to everyone, and that the contact information that's included, that we have it for everyone that is presenting today, so that you can easily get to everyone. This is, now that I'm thinking about it, is basically going to be a, kind of a publication, that we put together. Again, there are almost 200 slides here, but you'll be able to use this as at least a starting point as you develop your business development strategy. So again, utilize this time to get yourself prepared, and utilize this time to start looking at what is needed to do business with all of these organizations. So with that, we're just going to pause for just a second. I was looking to see if there's any more questions in the chat that I need to address. Brittany, you let me know if there's anything else there that we want to address as it relates to our prime contractors. Again, I want to thank you all for your support of this event, but not just this event. You guys have continued throughout the year to stay connected with us and to work with us here at the Urban League of Louisiana. And so I want to make sure that you guys understand that it is appreciated, and we look forward to continuing to work with each of you to make these opportunities accessible to our DBE firms, and to make sure that our firms have the education and technical assistance that they need, not only to bid, but also to perform well on these projects. And so again, to Lauren, to Nathan, to Nick with Gibbs, to Clayton, Nathan Hunter with Broadmoor, to Sarah and Jamie over at Landis, and of course Hugh and Nick with Hewitt Bow. Please know that we appreciate you, and thank you so much for your participation. Any questions, Brittany?
I don't see any questions at this time. A lot of the questions were offline questions.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. We're going to keep it moving. We've got a good 10 to 15 minutes ahead. So I want to thank you, and for all of our panelists that are upcoming. We're a little bit early, but that's no issue there. I want to make sure that everybody is ready. I'm going to start off with our Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. So Ms. Paula is going to come up, but I also want to use this time to, if he's there, I'm trying to make sure he's there. He's still here. Frank, are you there? Yes. So
yes,
just, hey, Frank, just wanted to give an opportunity for you to just introduce yourself to the group. Frank does a lot of our work on DOTD, working with businesses, directly with businesses, and he of course leads our business development program, but just wanted to give him an opportunity to introduce himself to the audience.
good morning, guys. I appreciate it, Classy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I am Frank Johnson, the Senior Business Advisor, Contractor Specialist with the Urban League. Been with the Urban League for some time now, and have worked with most of the companies that have approached you guys today regarding their projects. The services that, I perform for you guys is going to be, multifaceted. One of the things that I've noticed, though, in most of the clients that I've worked with in the past, is they had very limited knowledge on how to create a scope sheet. Scope sheets are what these general contractors will be looking for from you guys. So for some of you who are not familiar with that, then that's something that we can talk about. Other things such as bid prep and getting a proper estimate, You know, we do have a lab. We haven't been able to be there in quite some time because of COVID, but we use plans for estimating for quantities, UDA for scheduling, and also project management and CRM. But we also do QuickBooks, you know, so we can work and help you guys with QuickBooks for some of you who are using that particular program. And the application for your payments. You know, a lot of people have problems with that, the G702 and 03 AIA form. So we can also assist with that. But the one-on-one has been our secret sauce at the Urban League to help each of you on a one-on-one basis. And I've done that for quite some time with multiple trades. So that's the main things that I wanted to bring up, Classy. We do have a large DBE list. We work with a lot of contractors in every trade, and you know, we can also we can work with you guys too who are not familiar with the services that we provide. So if there's any other questions, my information will be in the chat as well for you guys to email me regarding our services.
Thank you so much, Frank. Absolutely. Frank has been doing this for a very long time and is familiar with you know, what you guys need to be successful. And the great thing, like he said, is to be able to do that on one-on-one. So, you know, when we think about the services that we provide, it is holistic, right? It's not one-dimensional where we think that just doing the training is gonna be sufficient. We know that, you know, when you come to a training class, that is an introduction to content. But one of the great things about our delivery method is that we understand that you also need the next step, which is typically one-on-one support, right? To one, understand the content of our training classes as it relates to your business, and then execution, right? How do you implement what we've talked about? How do you implement what you've learned? Incorporate that into your business models. And so that's the great thing about working one-on-one with Frank. And so happy, you know, that he's leading our Contractors Resource Center, but also our work with DOTD. And so thank you for that, Frank. So next up, Ms. Paula Roddy. Ms. Paula, are you there?
Classy, hello. Yes, I'm here.
Hi. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. You know, I have a couple of slides in here just about where folks can find the letting information on the DOTD site. But again, you know, as folks are interested in doing business with DOTD, know that Ms. Paula is there, but also you can also reach out to the Urban League of Louisiana to understand more about the opportunities from DOTD. But I did want to, you know, just invite you to share with us, Ms. Paula.
All right, well, thank you so much, Classy. I appreciate this. Welcome to everyone. Again, I'm Paula Roddy. I'm the Compliance Programs Director at DOTD, and we've been working very closely with Classy and Frank on so many different projects and webinars, trying to get our DBEs ready, our persons who would like to become certified as DBEs. As far as upcoming opportunities, well, everyone has heard about this huge infrastructure bill and the money that's going to come to Louisiana, somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 to $7 billion. And I would like to just say this: as the money comes to Louisiana, it does have to go through our legislative process, and I know probably a lot of bills will be filed in the next session as far as which roads or bridges are going to get money to be repaired or replaced or what have you. The time is right now to become certified. You can't wait until the spring. You have to start right now. So if you have businesses, if you're in some type of highway construction business or some other business that's associated with that, you need to get certified now. You need to send your information in. You need to work with our consultants to make sure that your applications are correct. You have all of your supporting documentation, and you get certified now. If you are already certified and you need to expand your codes, you want to have other services, you need to get experience in those services now, then come to us to see about expansion of codes. There will be so many opportunities available that are going to be coming to the state for years, as Keywood Bo was talking about earlier, that project is going to go on for years. And so The time now is to get certified or get your codes expanded so you'll be ready. And one thing with Classy was talking about meeting DBE goals. For the first time in 6 years, the department has met its department DBE goal for the state of Louisiana. Our goal went up last year to 15%, and we got very close last year at 14.7. But this year, we not only met the goal of 15%, we exceeded it. So we're at 15.42%. And what that means is all of the projects that are awarded, there's a certain percentage of those projects that have to be committed to DBEs. And our goal is 15%. Well, we were very aggressive with many of our policies and our procedures over the last 12 months. And it averaged out that we exceeded the goal, which is great. But as I was discussing with someone earlier, that's just a goal. You're only as good as your last championship. That's just a goal. So what we want to do is now we're trying to exceed that goal even further. And I don't think it's unrealistic for us to look at maybe a 20% goal as a goal. So 20% of those dollars go to DBEs, but you have to be certified. Again, the money is going to be coming into the system. We're going to be having all these projects that will be awarded. Get on board now so our DBEs can get a slice of this pie. I didn't do the math on it, but if we stayed at 15%, what is 15% of $6 billion? A lot of money. So again, work with the consultants, Classy and Frank and her group. They are so responsive, very responsive. They will work with you. They'll help you with your business plans, your financial literacy. Tune into their webinars. They're free of charge. There's not too many things that are out there that are free of charge, but they're free and they're here to help you. So thank you again for this opportunity, Classy, and I will put my contact information in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Roddy. You know, again, I get excited about this. I get excited about looking at, like you said, 20% of $6-7 billion. We should all, make sure that we are getting ourselves positioned, right, to take advantage of this opportunity, to make sure that we are certified, but to also make sure that we have the knowledge, right, to be prepared for these types of opportunities, And so I'm so excited about looking forward to 2022 because again, this is the year of making sure that we are, again, positioned. And so for our DBEs out there, and for those that are not DBE certified, I'm going to challenge you to connect with us, as soon as possible so that we can get you on our schedule so we can work with you on getting certified. We have someone on board that is working with businesses, only on certification. Like, can we get you certified? Let's get that out of the way so we can move on, right, to making sure that you have the education and the skills around, developing a winning bid, around project management, around, again, building up the right team, right? There's so much that goes into building your business. So we want to make sure that you have all the right tools and things you need in place to make that happen. So I want to thank you so much, Ms. Roddy, again, for being here with us. And thank you, Frank. I'm just going to, if you don't mind, Ms. Roddy, I'm just going to go. I want to make sure that everybody knows, one, that you can see the DOTD website at the bottom of the screen, but also when we do trainings, right? And every month we do outreach training so that you guys can understand more about doing business with DOTD, but also get into the details of how do you get prepared from to do business with DOTD. So there's some steps in the process. I'm not going to go through this as a part of one of our trainings, but I did want to show you guys how you get to the letting information. And so again, this is a part of one of our training programs. And so this is, again, if you are not familiar with this, please reach out to us because we can also help you with this one-on-one. That's what we're here to do. And that's what the DOTD has selected us to do on their behalf. And so we can walk you through this one-on-one. But to get to the project letting information, going to the website, clicking on businesses working with DOTD, you can see it right there on the screen, looking at the project letting information, and then going right to, see right here, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna
Network.
mute everybody, hold on. Cool, I had to mute everybody, all right. So yes, so you can go to this page. Again, we can walk you through how to, on this page, and look at the opportunities, the letting opportunities. And so this is something that, again, should be a part of your business development strategy, right? You should be on a continual basis, really a weekly basis, going in here to understand what opportunities are available. And so this is, you know, when you look at that section, notice to contractors, you want to make sure that you go in there. You can click on it by the, you know, typically if you look at the last date, click on the last date, you'll be able to see all of the opportunities under the announcements, and then you'll get a page, right? You'll get a full page of all the upcoming opportunities. Again, this should be a part of your business development strategy. I can't stress that enough, is that you know, you got to stay ahead of this, because this is, you know, while DOTD is one agency, there are many, right, that you should be looking at in terms of opportunities. And so you need to get a set process of how, well, first, who on your team is going to be in charge of business development and looking at upcoming opportunities, and what that process looks like for you guys within your organizations. Again, DBE firm, yes, you know, you are in the business of providing a service, but you also need to make sure that from an entrepreneurial perspective, you have a plan in place for how you're going to get access to opportunities and prepare yourself to bid and win opportunities. So that is the purpose, again, of the work that we're doing with DOTD. And so again, Ms. Roddy, I want to thank you for being here. Frank, thank you for that. Again, we cover the Urban League of Louisiana, our Contractors Resource Center, and the work that we do with DOTD. We cover the Region B, and the rest of the state is covered by the SJB group. I encourage you, if you are in another part of the state and are looking for training and looking for opportunities, please feel free to reach out to us and we can connect you with the SJB group, because they are magnificent at making sure that, again, DBEs and others that are interested in becoming a DBE have access to resources and these opportunities as well. So we work hand in hand to cover the state. And so again, I want to let you know, again, you can reach out to us for support in this space. And we're excited. We're excited about 2022, Ms. Paula. So we're ready to go. All right, up next.
Good morning. This is Christina Dayries. I'm the Assistant Deputy Director for GOSEP.
Hey, take it away.
Okay, to get started?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Next slide, please. Okay, and good morning to everyone. What I'd like to give you today is just kind of a little awareness of what GOSEP does as far as procurement. Pretty much during emergency events, we don't do a whole lot of that during blue sky days. We don't get a whole lot of funding appropriation for different types of contracts. Mostly happens during emergencies. So that's what I'll kind of cover today. So what we want to make vendors aware of is different procurement policies and procedures that us as a state agency and all of our local parish governments, local townships and villages have to follow during the emergencies. So many of you may be familiar. There's, you know, the Louisiana Revised Statutes State Procurement Code for state agencies. That's Title 39. Local entities typically follow Title 38. One of the main things I want to make you aware of is a lot of state and local agencies will also implement a little bit more stricter requirements than what's actually required in state law, just so they can better manage and monitor what type of contracts and bids and things that they're doing locally. So this is really just to get you familiar with what requirements are for them. This does change a lot, sometimes annually. The legislature will increase the procurement threshold. You know, started off way back in the day, 20,000. I think it may be up to 30, 35,000 now before they have to require sealed bids. So that's something you just want to be familiar with, because that's what the state agencies and local governments have to follow. Next slide. So which rules we have to follow during an emergency? If typically during emergency events, FEMA is going to come in and probably provide some funding if it's a large disaster to get reimbursed. So that throws a whole new caveat, a whole new set of rules and regulations that state and local governments must follow when they start their procurement processes for awarding contracts or procuring services or renting different types of services. So which one do we follow? What has to happen is we have to choose the most restrictive. And in some cases, the local government's own internal policies and procedures may be the most restrictive out of all of them. But at a minimum, they have to follow be familiar with and follow which regulation is the most restrictive for them while they issue their procurement process. Federal government has a larger threshold for small purchases, but typically the state and local laws are a little bit more restrictive there. So it's just kind of letting you know what they have to follow. So they may change their processes depending on the funding source for their procurement. Next slide. So what happens during a state activation? When the state emergency EOC gets activated, the governor's there pretty much every day. And we at GOSEP start receiving a whole lot of resource requests from local governments or state agencies to process. Next slide. Excuse me. So what we like to encourage vendors to be aware of is all emergencies are local. So what's going to happen is, and the way GOSEP has set up the process with the local government and FEMA, is that emergencies start at the smallest local level possible. That means any city, town, village, they typically will be impacted by some type of a disaster that's happened, tornado, floods, hurricanes, whatever it may be, winter storms. Then they're required to do their due diligence and try to take care of that local event as much as they can on their own with their local procurement processes and their local funding if they have it. If they're not able to do that at the local township level, then what they will do next, click the next button, they will do a request to the local parish emergency operations center. And that's who our office typically works with. Next button. The parish EOC will do the exact same thing the local government has done. They'll typically have some in-parish resources for commodities or PPE, that's new since COVID, and they will use all of their parish assets to try to help that township and or any parish emergency needs that they have. A lot of parish governments have begun the process of establishing some pre-emergency bids and contracts. They should utilize those where they can, or they'll actually kind of knock on their neighboring parish's door and say, hey, if you're not impacted, can you come and help my parish? And they will exhaust all of those means and all of their contracting and funding resources before the next, hey, Mr. State, can you start helping us at the local level? We've exhausted everything we can. We can't bid it. We can't rent it. We can't contract for it. I need your assistance. So when it hits the state EOC, and you can click the next button, then it gets pushed to my staff. We're the admin, finance staff that take care of all of the procurement and contracting, renting of anything that the state EOC may need to do. And this is a laundry list, and I'll show you on one of the next slides of a lot of different types of procurement and resources we have. So what we do at GOSEP is I work with the state's Office of Statewide Procurement, and we establish a whole lot of pre-emergency contracts that I can utilize and activate during a disaster. It saves my time during the emergency, and it allows a lot more time for vendors to respond to solicitations as they're let. Not when it's dire straits and there's emergency and my time frame is 2 hours, 24 hours. So we do a whole lot of this. And excuse me, I'm kind of sick today. We do a whole lot of this after an emergency. We'll evaluate where we were, what type of bids I had to do, and then we'll try to set up these pre-established contracts during a blue sky day. I'll work a lot with state procurement. We'll do that solicitation with them, typical state rules and regulations for that. And we'll, a lot of the times, establish multiple awards, have more than one vendor for those types of contracts. We also utilize any state agency asset that's in place. And then we reach out to the state's business EOC, which is located at the UL Lafayette campus. Then once I've exhausted a lot of that, I can't contract for it, I can't find it anywhere, then I have a couple of options. I will reach out to my neighboring states, kind of knock on the door and say, hey, Texas, Mississippi, South Carolina, we've got them from all over the United States. Can you come and help us in responding to this emergency? What I have typically done there, it's been personnel requests. They come in with firemen, law enforcement officials. They help us with search and rescue. They'll backfill some of our local sheriff's office, backfill state police if they're working long hours, for an extended period of time, and they'll provide those resources. And then we will always reach out to the federal government after that. We've exhausted everything we can do at the state level. We've contacted other states, and then FEMA will start start utilizing some of their pre-negotiated contracts to bring in resources to the state of Louisiana. So you can kind of see that line right down the middle, from the township to the parish to the state to the federal government. We typically try to do a whole lot when there's not an emergency. Let's see what we need. Let's get some contracts in place that we can quickly utilize when the emergency happens. And we all know we can't think of everything. We probably exhaust a lot of resources, especially for large scale disasters like Ida and Laura recently. So we will do a whole lot of emergency procurement even while the emergency is going on. So this is really just to kind of show you that process. Next slide. Next, there we go. Okay, see, these are some of the samples, and I literally just pulled a handful. There's a lot more to this that you will see let during emergencies or in blue sky days from GOSEP. Anything from generators and pumps, and I'll tell you, we exhaust those established state contracts typically within the first week to 7 days. They've exhausted everything they have in inventory, and we are contacting anybody to find us generators and pumps for large events. We do a whole lot of MREs, water, tarps, and ice. New to this last couple of disasters, we started utilizing various restaurants. We started that a lot in COVID. I did a, excuse me, a whole lot in the New Orleans area. We used a lot of local restaurants to provide food for us at the Morial staffing, some of our state staffing at some of the local hotels, and for some of the hotels that we had a homeless population in. We were feeding them. And then for Ida, we started utilizing some of our food truck vendors and locating them in some of the hardest hit areas because we had no restaurants available. So that's something new. And we will think a lot of that on the fly during an event. What's some new innovative ideas? And so you guys have that. Feel free to send that on to the state. We do a whole lot of portable types of equipment, from light plant showers and toilets, different types of forklifts, material handling type equipment, transportation of trucks and our drivers. Sometimes we'll just rent a box truck. We don't want the truck driver to stay there, drop it off, let us use it as temporary storage. And then we do have a whole lot of transportation, moving different types of commodity and assets through the impacted parishes. From COVID, we started establishing PPE bids, and then now I think we just established a state contract for this within the last couple of weeks. We can now go and utilize different types of vendors on state contracts. We don't have to let them out for bid during an emergency. We do lots of tents, RV type trailers. You guys probably heard a lot of that with Hurricane Ida. We procured about 249 during COVID to house some of our COVID positive patients at our state parks. And then for Ida, FEMA had significant delays in getting housing for the impacted areas. So GOSEP, as of last week, I think I had purchased right at about 3,400 travel trailers from vendors, and they came literally from all over the United States. We've, I think, put in quite a lot of those already, and the majority of those are finally getting delivered to me today. So we should have all 34 in state as of today. Or 3,400, excuse me. We do a lot of staff augmentation for different state agencies. Biggest one we've done is medical vendors, provide nurses, EMTs, doctors, a lot of pulmonary people for COVID. We did a lot of that to augment staffing for different hospitals and healthcare facilities. We did a whole lot, and this was new since COVID, establishing some non-congregate sheltering at hotels. I think I had 57 different contracts with a lot of the hotels in the New Orleans area and a few up in the Shreveport area. And we used those for our Laura survivors for quite an extended period of time. I had them, I think, some contracts in place for over 6 months. And then different types of dumpsters, Connex boxes, refrigerated storage type units. So this is really just a snapshot to show you guys what we do during the emergency. A lot of these are established state contracts, but those get, like I told you, get utilized very fast. Vendors run out of inventory, and then you'll see me issuing a lot of emergency bids on the fly during an emergency. Next slide. So what happens after the disaster? That's kind of the contracts I let during a disaster. Next slide. What happens when the disaster is over and we're kind of in that recovery phase? So these are some of these are going to be let out soon from GOSEP. these are some of the type of programs that I'll do larger scale. Think of a request for proposal or an emergency solicitation for offer. We call it an SFO, or a request for a quote. You'll see a lot of that come from our office post-disaster. We issue a lot of program management or case management services from these various different FEMA funded programs. Typical public assistance, disaster case management. This is one that I will be letting out an RFP in January. I'll be letting 2 different types of RFPs, one from the overall program management, looking for possibly 2 vendors on there, and then the detailed case management under the disaster case management program. I'm looking for probably 10 different vendors, estimated value about 20 million per vendor under that case management service. So be on the lookout for those. What we're looking for is really people that have that historical experience and background to help our survivors try to find some resources for housing and other needs that they may have. Rental program, we've done that one. That's kind of managing a lot of what's going on with direct housing using the FEMA funding. Our housing program, I kind of mentioned that with the travel trailers. That's new to Louisiana. We've never done that before. FEMA's never done that with the state before, and we're kind of taking over running that program. And it's managing the overall processes that we have and getting survivors into some of those travel trailers or other congregate type units that we have in place. And then we also let out often the hazard mitigation grant program. That's helping a lot of our state and local agencies develop good grant applications to mitigate disasters, mitigate future disasters. So we look for vendors to help us with that. Then we do a lot of public relations marketing, getting the message out, outreach during a disaster. We did a lot of that during COVID. I think I had 3 or 4 different vendors under this type of service. And we'll buy a lot of targeted media placement and ad buys. And that's really getting the message out to that community of what's going on, what precautions they've taken place. We did a lot of that during COVID. So that's some of our post-disaster opportunities. So how does GoToSep notify vendors of these opportunities during emergencies? Next slide. And I get asked this question a lot, and I'll send this email out to a lot of different people. Several different steps. We do all of these pretty much simultaneously. We post our larger bids, our larger emergency requests for quotes or solicitation for offers to the State Office of State Procurement, LAPAC website. That's the Louisiana's Procurement Assistance something, I can't remember the acronym, but we'll post all of our large ones here on the state's official website. A lot of state agencies do that. The next thing we do is we'll start contacting vendors from the vendor resource list. The Office of State Procurement will maintain a vendor resource list. Say you're a vendor who didn't happen to get the state contract, where they're going to keep your name and number on blue sky days or emergencies so that we can reach out to you if we need. They share that vendor resource list with me at the state. And then my staff also maintains a vendor resource list. We get emails constantly. We get bids from vendors constantly. We'll maintain our list. And then we start reaching out during an emergency to pretty much anybody and everybody that we heard of that can provide a resource, and we'll start contacting you for those bids. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll also reach out to the state's business EOC. They have, and I'll have a slide on this shortly, they have a pool of vendors for different types of commodities, and they push out a whole lot of information, and they help try to identify different vendors with me. And then we send out a lot of our bigger RFQs to the Louisiana Economic Development and DOTD's DBE vendor email list. I work with Sean Wilson, and I think he pushes it to his DBE staff. They'll push out our RFQ to their vendor resource list, and then we work out. I was working with Mandy Mitchell, and she has a replacement now, and she pushes out stuff from our office to their vendor resource list as well. So this is kind of what we do. A lot of during an emergency, if there's not a state contract, you will see my staff, and I'll have anywhere from 1 to 40 different people reaching out to various vendors. We work double shifts, and we work 7 days a week during the height of the emergency. We're going to need this information back quick during an emergency. So you're not going to have a week to submit me a bid if it's something I need delivered in 48 hours, right? Or larger bids that will give you that time frame. But I need stuff emailed to me, fax it to me. I'm looking for phone quotes with some details. You'll see my staff pushing really hard for you to be very responsive and very timely on those quotes, because like I said, it started off at the local level, it pushes all the way up to the state. So by the time it gets to me, they're probably in a dire strait and they're needing this stuff like yesterday. So you're going to see us push pretty hard to try to get those quotes in. Usually, typically a few hours, may give you 24 hours in some cases, but not often when it's something that they need pretty quick. Next slide. This is really just to show you and provide you the link if you're not familiar with it already. This is the LAPAC's public menu, and it has the link that you can go in and register as a vendor, find all of the bids by not only GOSEP, all of the state agencies. I will strongly encourage you to register for more commodities than you think. If you think this may or may not fit, register for it. You will get copies emailed to your email address of all the bids from not just our office, all of the various agencies that utilize that commodity, and you can check your payment status and all of those types of things. These are the links to access all of that. Next slide. Next slide. Got it. So one of the other things I encourage every single vendor to do, spend the time. It doesn't take that long. Register to receive your payment via electronic fund transfer. That means you'll get paid once we approve the invoice at a state agency within 24 to 72 hours. You do not have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for a check to get processed, because at the state, we only cut checks twice a week. You don't want to wait for that to happen. Then you have to wait for snail mail, and did it get mailed to the right address? Some of these are large dollar checks that are being sent via mail. So, you take that risk of losing that check or somebody picking that check up. That has happened in the past. We've done many stop payments and reissues, so that just delays all of that. Spend the time, get registered via EFT, and you can actually track all of your payments all online in the state system. Next slide. This is just a link to the state business EOC, just letting you know, some of you who are not familiar with this, get familiar with it. They help a lot of agencies, and not just responding to bids and bid requests. They'll actually help you do some disaster planning, create a emergency operations or a disaster recovery plan for your agencies. They can provide a lot of these resources. They do disaster assessments, vulnerability assessments with your agency. So there's a lot of things. We give them grant funding for a lot of this. So they'll come and train you, give presentations to you and your staff, and just help you with some templates that they've created that you can implement pretty quickly. Next slide. Just register now. This is their information, the link to their website. I just encourage you to utilize them, and they will send, during an emergency, our office creates a daily sit rep for the governor and his cabinet officials. They actually get a copy of that sit rep. They will mass distribute that to their vendors that are registered with the business EOC. So you can kind of see what a state of a status, I guess, of what's going on during emergency. What are the state agencies doing? How is the state responding? What's the current weather forecast? All that stuff's included there. How the parishes are responding? What are their actions taking? All that's included in our daily sit rep, and that's pushed out by the business EOC to our vendors. Next slide. And this is just a link, and it takes you directly to a pamphlet. It's how to do business with the state and or FEMA. Next slide will be the FEMA slide. It's the link to access that, and it just gives you the tip. This is the FEMA one. You go to the SAMS.gov, register with them. It's there. You can find different contract opportunities on their website. We get asked a lot by Louisiana vendors. I'll probably get calls during an emergency 10 times a day. How can I get in touch with FEMA and become a FEMA contractor, or find their contractor and maybe be a sub underneath there. So this is the website where you can find a lot of those opportunities and get yourself registered. Next slide. I think I'm coming to the end, I believe. Yeah. Okay. And this is just our director. He's acting right now. And I think he'll become official in mid-January sometime, Casey Tingle. He has a very open door policy. You can email, talk to him constantly. Same with me, my direct email address and my direct office number. It rings to my cell. Contact us at any time you have any questions about any of GOSEP's procurement opportunities. And that's the end of my slide.
Thank you so much, Christina. Always great information, always great to hear about the process of procurement in emergency situations. And so this is, one of the great things about being able to connect our DBEs and other businesses with these opportunities is that you get, a rundown of the process, right? And you get to connect and get to understand all of those, the checklist of what you need to do to get prepared. But there's so many opportunities. I remember one of the last sessions that you did with us. I mean, the opportunities that are there, right, is just amazing. And so we want to make sure that businesses understand that you got to get prepared, right, to be in place for these types of situations. So I appreciate the information. I appreciate you connecting us with your office and connecting our DBEs with your office. If our DBEs that are on the line or those that are looking to become DBE certified, please make sure that you connect with us to make sure that, and we can walk you through this process and walk you through how to get set up and how to make sure that you complete everything. But again, it is a part of a bigger strategy for you and your organization. So again, we appreciate having Christina here and sharing this information with us. Very timely, very relevant, and it's good to go into 2022 with this type of information. So thank you. Let's see. All right, up next we have let's see. So this is the ghost and up next we have Miss Lori Bartholomew. So Lori is the director of the Office of Supplier Diversity for the City of New Orleans. So happy to be connected to you and working with you to identify opportunities with the City of New Orleans for our DBE contractors. So Lori, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Nice to meet you and nice to have you here with us. Take it away.
Thank you, Classy. I'm glad to be here and hopefully I can give you some information about how to take advantage of some of the opportunities that the city has. Just like everyone else, I guess everyone knows that the city has a lot of opportunities now. I mean, you can drive around the city and see all the road work going on and know that we are getting dollars for infrastructure and other opportunities as well. And I'm glad that Mayor Kincaid is here to talk about the green infrastructure projects that we're doing. Next slide. So the Equitable Business Opportunities Program for the city, and that may be a new term that we're using. The ordinance was updated in January, but it's administered through the Office of Supply Diversity, or OSD. And it was established to assist underserved, underutilized, and disadvantaged businesses with gaining greater access to procurement opportunities and resources to build competitively viable and sustainable businesses in and for the city of New Orleans. That's a lot. Next slide. So for purposes of the EBO program, DBEs who are certified with the Slvde program, which is the State and Local Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, or LAUCP certification, are qualified to be counted as in the equity goals for DBEs for the city of New Orleans. Next slide. Next slide.
You want the
so
EBO
for EBO program compliance, the default goal for the city of New Orleans is 35%. Select contracts may have a tailored goal that is less or more than the 35%, but the default goal is 35, and believe us when we say it's a goal. To count towards the equity goal, firms must be certified as DBEs with either Slvde or LAUCP. And firms must be currently certified in the scope of work that they will be performing on the contracts to be counted toward the goal. OSD reviews post-bid DBE compliance forms for compliance with the EBO program requirements and validates the vendor's commitment to the DBE goal. So when the contract is signed with a prime, we make sure that they have a plan and a goal set in the contract, and that they have a contract with a certified DBE. Vendors are required to conform to their established DBE commitments as validated by OSD, and good faith efforts shall be monitored through the life of the contract. So if a prime contractor doesn't believe that they're going to meet the goal that we've set or established with them for that contract, then they have to show us and demonstrate that they've made a good faith effort to meet the goal. Next slide. So I think this is the most important thing. This is our homepage for the Office of Supply Diversity, and it talks about the DBE resources that are available. One of the things that we do, and one of the important things that we do, is we certify for the state and local business DBE program. And on our website, I'll tell you, number one, the first thing that you should do is apply for DBE certification, because once you're certified, you're added to the DBE directory where prime contractors can get lists of certified DBEs to meet their goals. The next step is to become registered as a vendor in BRAS, which is the supplier portal for the city of New Orleans. Once you gain access to upcoming opportunities so that you can reach out to potential and existing prime contractors to market your business. And then number three, stay informed of DBE opportunities offered by the city. I've added the website that goes directly to our homepage, but you can also get it by going through the homepage of the city from NOLA.com, look at departments and choose supplier diversity. Next slide. So what is the Slvde program, a certification? The program is a race and gender neutral program that does not presume social and economic disadvantage. Each applicant for certification as an SLDBE carries the burden of proof regarding their eligibility in establishing their social and economic disadvantage. A business may qualify for certification as an SLDBE if it is determined that the firm's ability to compete in the business world has been restricted due to industry practices, limited access to capital, and or restricted credit opportunities are beyond the firm's control. The SLDBE program is administered, or certification is done in cooperation with the Sujin Water Board, RTA, New Orleans Aviation Board, and certification is also accepted for certain contracts at other agencies in the state. So some of the things that are used to determine your eligibility for SLDBE certification, your ownership of the firm, your business size, if your firm is independent and controlled, and if you're exercising control of the business and making business decisions for the firm. Next slide. Some of the list of information that we request for your certification. I know that you guys who are participating in Urban League's program or any other program, these are some of the things that you are aware of, but these are the things that we look at and evaluate to determine if you're eligible for the program. Next slide. You can also access the application for certification directly from our DBE system, which is B2G Now, by going to this website, which is neworleans.dbesystems.com, and log on to there or click on becoming certified. And then if you're already certified through LAUCP, then we also will add you to our directory. So after you become certified, the next step in finding opportunities is to become a vendor with the city and register with BRAS. BRAS stands for the Budget Requisition and Accounting Services System. It is the procurement platform used for supplier management, bidding opportunities, purchase orders and contracts, invoice submission, and payment release. The supplier portal is the external interface of BRAS with individuals and entities who want to do business with the city. BRAS also interfaces with the DBE system so that OSD can monitor payments to DBEs. So that's an important step. I mean, we make sure that once you become certified, that we let you know that the next step is to become registered in BRAS. So what happens is, and so once you go to this portal, which is part of the procurement department's site on NOLA.com, by registering in the supplier portal and indicating all the commodities and services provided by your firm, you will receive notification of pre-proposal meetings, which is an opportunity to network with contractors who are considering responding to solicitations, or even if you are considering being a prime yourself. Advertisements of invitations to bid, requests for proposals, requests for quotes, and information solicitations. So once you become registered in the BRAS, you will select your commodity codes, and then you will receive direct emails about opportunities that are becoming available or actually existing in BRAS or for the city. Next slide. Another way to find out about the opportunities to bid from the supplier portal, you'll see there is another link, and you can click on that, and it'll tell you about all of the opportunities that are coming up. This is also another way to access those opportunities from the NOLA.gov homepage. There is a link for bids and contracts. So this is what the list looks like when you get into BRAS or the supplier portal, and there is a list of the opportunities. It'll tell you what type of opportunity, what type of bid or proposal that they're looking for, and also which department it is, and when the bid is opened and when it's closed. And when you're registered, once you're licensed, you can click on each one of those and find out more information. And then these are the other places where you can find opportunities with the city. So these are the departments that offer the most contracts with the city, and most of the construction contracts. Department of Public Works, you can go directly to their website. It's composed of 5 divisions responsible for maintaining approximately 1,546 miles of streets. This is the one that is probably doing the most work right now in the city, and 149 bridges in the city of New Orleans. Capital Projects Administration is carrying out an unprecedented program of rebuilding public facilities to serve as community anchors, stimulate private investment, enhance economic development, and elevate quality of life and safety for residents. And like I said, Mary will talk about more of those opportunities for the green infrastructure stuff, but that's administered through the Capital Projects Administration Department. Next slide. And then from our homepage, we also talk about DBE Opportunities. So on here, you also have a link that goes directly to the BRAS portal and talks about bidding opportunities. Also, we have what we call a DBE Subcontracting Opportunities. So what we do is we give prime contractors the opportunity to list projects that they will be working on and that they will be looking for DBEs for. And then also under there, you'll see our partnering agency opportunities. So we will have links to all of the agencies that we partner with. Next slide. And then, I'm sorry, we went a little fast. Finally, you can find out about available opportunities in the DBE system. OSD will email opportunities to DBEs in a directory based on the areas in which they are certified. You can also find out about any outreach events, such as OSD's business hours or other informational meetings offered by OSD or any one of our partner agencies. We become registered with other agencies to make sure that we're aware of whatever opportunities they're offering for outreach or education or updates or anything, and then we will post it on our outreach page. And then we also email vendors based on, or DBEs based on how they are, what type of business they do. You can contact us by emailing supplierdiversity@nola.gov. That email goes to everyone in our office, and then also by reaching out to anyone on our senior team. It's myself, I'm the director, and I'm at Lori.Bartholomew@nola.gov. And then we have a certification coordinator. She can answer any of your certification questions. That's Sonia Leva at NOLA.gov. And then our senior compliance officer is Matthew Cullinan. He's at Matthew Cullinan at NOLA.gov.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. Great information on how to do business with the City of New Orleans, how to identify opportunities, and how to get access to applying for Slvde certification. So again, we appreciate you and your team and the work that you do to support our DBE community. And we look forward to working with you in 2022. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Class.
Absolutely. And so for our DBEs and others on the phone, make sure that you go to, to get to supply diversity, go to NOLA.gov, NOLA.gov. So just wanted to make sure that you guys have that and know how to get to the city. So thank you again, Lori. And now we're going to move on to Mary. Hey, Mary. So thank you so much. So glad to connect with you again. This is Mary Kincaid. She is with the Project Delivery Unit for the City of New Orleans. So she is the Sustainable Infrastructure Program Manager. And so we're happy to have her here to talk about some the green infrastructure projects that the city is working on now and in the months to come. So thank you so much, Mary, for being here. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Classy. So yeah, we want to give y'all a little bit of advance notice, more than just 30 days. So we're going to show you some things that are coming out all through next year. Next slide. So in terms of green infrastructure, you can see here we have quite a few things that are coming out in early next year, but all the way through Q4 of 2022. You'll notice that there's a little star on some of these that it says that they'll be debundled. What that means is that for a project that's 16 million, that we're going to be breaking that into 3 different construction sets so that this becomes in the 5 to 10 million range, where it works with the bonding capacity of some of our smaller and local companies. Now, I will say that in order to look at how the exact scopes of these projects and how they're going to be broken down, you can go to NOLA.gov/resilience, and you'll be able to see either on the HMGP down menu or the Gentilly Resilience District down menu. You can see a lot more information about all of these projects. But basically, green infrastructure is combining a lot of traditional construction skills, such as excavation and embankment, placing geotextiles, doing related pavement reconstruction. We do have to install some gray infrastructure. So if you're in the pipe business, don't assume that these projects are not for you. And then we have some newer technologies like underground storage chambers, which are basically kind of like these plastic boxes that store water for us so that we can make something into essentially a storage pond, but then also keep it as a park. So if you're familiar with Easton Park over by Lafitte Greenway, that's an example of something that was done with underground storage. Or if you want to see what some of these techniques look like, you can go to Joe Bartholomew Golf Course, and there's a large bioswale there. Next slide. Now, to talk about, like I said, these are these have some traditional skill sets in there as well as some newer technologies. So we wanted to kind of like break these apart across some of our jobs to give you an idea of some of the impact for those of you that work in demolition or in plants or in typical sticks and bricks vertical construction. So you can see here, a lot of plant material is going to be coming out through next year. Some of these will be emphasizing native plants, but there's also, a good healthy amount of demolition work, earth work, and typical gray drainage work on here. Next slide. I wanted to give you, obviously you already met Lori, but I wanted to give you some of our other resources here. So we do have an opportunity out for workforce training right now where Thrive is our partner and they're recruiting, but we've also got Sine Villalbaso's contact information on here, who heads up our workforce development. You've got Jeff Schwartz's contact info on here, my contact info, and then in terms of that earlier slide that you saw where we broke it down, how much plants and how much earth moving, a lot of that comes from Melissa Shigoda. So these are the city team that's working here to make sure that these green infrastructure opportunities are connected to our community. And, you know, please take a note and reach out at any time. We were happy to help you. I think that's my final slide. Thank you, Classy.
Thanks so much, Mary. I appreciate it. And, you know, I wanted to make sure that your office was included here and will be included, you know, moving forward to share these opportunities with our DBEs. You know, I think I mentioned to you on a call, we here at the Urban League of Louisiana will be working with NOLA BA and the Advancing Cities initiatives to make sure that we are working with small businesses to increase opportunities for blue and green projects across the city. And so we are going to be launching some training to support, I mentioned at the top of the program, our G-Pro training for the green professional building skills, also the G-Pro construction management, and some other working sessions to make sure that our businesses get prepared and really, you know, take their business model to the next level in terms of expanding into some of these areas. And so building up and you know, capacity building and gaining expertise in some of these spaces. And so again, it's good to have that view of what are some of the opportunities coming up, and then we'll make sure that our DBEs stay connected to the projects as they come. But again, this is a strategy, right, to make sure that we are creating a sustainable city. And so
I want to let the contractors and let you know, my staff have worked really hard on debundling these projects, you know, working with our contracts team and, you know, working with our grants team to make sure that we can do this with federal funding. And so we really appreciate you helping us with the last mile. You know, there's not really any point to doing the work to debundle these projects if we can't also get the opportunities out there. So we're very thankful, but I also really want to encourage anyone who's really interested in this work to either reach out via email, but especially go to our website, nola.gov/resilience, and look at the project scopes for anything that you're interested in. We have a huge amount of material on there for past presentations that show the scopes of each of these jobs.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And like you said, I mean, there's a lot of work being done, right, to get us to the point where we do have access to these opportunities. I love, of course, the debundling strategy. But our goal here at the Urban League is to make sure that we have the vendors, the suppliers, and the contractors to support that work. And so that's why we're here and working on this together, right? Because we want to make sure that as you have opportunities that come available, we're able to provide you with folks that can do that work. And so we appreciate that. To our DBEs, again, if you have the ability to you know, build capacity within your organization to meet some of the needs around, you know, blue-green infrastructure, and we're talking about water management and green infrastructure and green buildings. And so if you have the capacity or at least the interest, please reach out to us at the Urban League of Louisiana. We are going to be offering some training, again, starting in early 2022, and offering that training working right now to make sure that it is, you know, low to no cost for you. And so we're going to help you build capacity, again, at you know, hopefully no cost, right? And so take advantage of that, you know, sign up for the trainings, build the ammunition, get the certifications, get in this space, because there's opportunity coming. So thank you so much. So moving on to our next speaker. Up next, we have Miss Angela Belong. So, Angela, pronounce your last name for me. Is it
Yes,
like
Angela Belanger. Yeah, it's Belanger.
Oh, I know that last name then. Okay. So
it's
nice.
all good.
So nice to have you here. And so Angela is the program analyst at the Morial Convention Center. I'm so happy to have you here to talk about the SCB program that the Convention Center has. So thrilled about the work that you guys are doing there with Roshan. And so just wonderful to have you share about the program with our DBE audience. So Angela, take it away.
No problem. Thank you so much, Classy. Just want to give a heads up, Brittany and Classy, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat, and also my director, Rashawn Spencer's information in the chat on how they can contact us. The website to use for opportunities with the Convention Center Exhibition Hall Authority will also be in the chat, and I'm hoping that it can be shared with the panelists and also all of the participants in the meeting today.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Please feel free to go to the next slide, please. So again, I'm Angela Belonge. I am the program analyst for the small business program here at the Convention Center, where we are dedicated to promoting small businesses. Small and emerging businesses are the core of what we do in this department. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So this is just some information about the Convention Center's Exhibition Hall Authority. That's the governing board for the Convention Center. There are many policies and procedures that are being done to make sure that small and emerging businesses or disadvantaged business enterprises are being utilized within the projects that we have at the Convention Center. I do want to talk about the two programs that we have within our program. It's two programs, but one purpose. The small business program and the set aside program is what I'm going to be talking about today in the presentation. Next slide, please. So our first program is the Small and Emerging Business Opportunity Program. This program is for not only DBEs, certified DBEs, but also small emerging businesses that are certified by the Hudson Initiative. So when I say that a program or a project or procurement has a participation goal, that participation goal can be fulfilled through the Small and Emerging Business Program with the Hudson Initiative, or through the LAUCP, or through SLDBE. So it's really important to become certified so that you can be part of the participation opportunities that are available. Next slide, please. Now, the set aside program that we have with the Convention Center is a little different. This is just for DBEs. You have to be a certified DBE in order to be part of the participation for these. So there are some projects that we set aside that are only for DBEs. Only DBEs can qualify to be part of a particular project. The information, of course, is given here. The state says that 30% of anticipated local procurement and of goods and services need to be brought to these DBEs. And also, we have a mandate for construction too. 20% of the contracts for construction need to be going towards a DBE. Next slide, please. So just a heads up about the set aside program, and also even the Small and Emerging Business Program. We use the NAICS codes and also the census to find out what our percentage or what the participation goals should be for each of the projects that we have. Next slide, please. So certification. We always make sure that we are providing as much information as possible regarding certification. We are not a certifying agency though. However, we do have a lot of information on how to become certified, either with the City of New Orleans or with the Louisiana Department of Transportation, of course, and then of course with the Hudson Initiative. But we are not a certifying agency. A lot of people ask me that question. If we are not at this time. Next slide, please. So there are some times where a project is awarded to a vendor or a supplier. They have to show good faith efforts, showing that they have exhausted all efforts to try to find a DBE or a SEB, or a small and emerging business for contracting or subcontracting. So let's say that a company is awarded a project. They are not a small and emerging business. They're not a disadvantaged business enterprise. If they're not able to meet participation goals to show that they have been, that they're working or subcontracting with a small and emerging business, they have to show good faith efforts. They have to explain how they exhausted all efforts in order to show that they have tried to find vendors or subcontractors that were small and emerging businesses in order to work with a convention center. Next slide, please. So our staff, right now we have a staff of 2, it'll be 3 very soon. The Small and Emerging Business Program, we always try to make sure that we are establishing relationships with our small and emerging businesses, our disadvantaged business enterprises. We also partner with different groups, of course, like the Urban League. We partner with the Hispanic Chamber. The list of partnering projects are actually here on this slide too. And also I contact the certifying agencies, or I just go on their websites each month to make sure that I'm pulling all the new certified vendors so that we can update our system that we have of the list of local vendors or the list of small and emerging business enterprises that we can look at. So we want to be sure that we have a pool, a large pool of small and emerging businesses or disadvantaged business enterprises to choose from. Next slide, please. So here's a short list of just the available opportunities that are coming up in the next couple of months. However, the website that I had posted in the chat, exhallnola.com, is where people will be able to identify different opportunities, available opportunities, and upcoming opportunities. axhallnola.com is also a website where you can register for opportunities, for learning more about what the Convention Center offers. You can learn more about the Small and Emerging Business Program and also our outreach opportunities too. Next slide, please. So as an analyst, I'm the numbers person. So this is the stuff that I like to see. Each month we do add vendors and suppliers to our system so that, again, we can have a pool of prospective vendors. So for third quarter 2021, I just want to give a heads up that 63% of the new vendors that we added were either a certified small and emerging business or a disadvantaged business enterprise that was certified too. So that's pretty awesome. Next slide, please. So just a heads up, 32% of our participation dollars went to a small and emerging business or a disadvantaged business enterprise, 32%. So that's actually the highest that we've done in more than a couple of years. I was actually so excited to find out that we hit that over 30% mark. Go ahead, next slide, please. So all this jargon just means on this slide at the bottom is what's most important. 30% of our contracts were awarded to small and emerging businesses. So 30% of our prime contracts were awarded to small and emerging businesses or disadvantaged business enterprise. But the total value of contract awards was actually 57%. So over $9 million in the third quarter of 2021 was to a small and emerging business or a disadvantaged business enterprise. Next slide, please. So remember that I mentioned that we at the Convention Center have two small business programs, one of which is the Small and Emerging Business Program, and then the Set Aside Program, which is only for DBEs. So the information on this chart is solely for DBEs. 27% quarter three payment percentage to DBEs is what we calculated, but the award to DBEs was actually 55%. So over $9 million was issued to disadvantaged business enterprises that were certified just in the third quarter. Next slide, please. Oh, that's it for me. Okay. Just a heads up, if anyone has any questions regarding the Convention Center, the Exhibition Hall Authority, the Small and Emerging Business Program, or the Set Aside program that we have here, please feel free to contact me. My email address, again, is in the chat, abelonga, ABELONGA @mccno.com, or just go to exhallnola.com and register for our program. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thanks again, Classy.
Awesome, so much. So thank you so much, Angela. I'm gonna, before we publish, I'll add a slide and I'll add your contact information in here.
Thank you.
The great work that's being done at the Convention Center. Thank you for sharing that information. I think it's so important that we see, the impact right? And the dollars that are being, sourced through DBEs and SEBs. And so I'm so happy to hear that, you guys are looking forward to 2022 and making sure that all of our DBEs and small businesses, small diverse businesses get access to your opportunities. So grateful for you and the team. So please stay connected with us and let us know how we may be able to support you guys moving forward. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
I don't know how I went on mute. Sorry about that. Just calling up Miss Chanel. Chanel Abad is the Director of Procurement for the Port of New Orleans. Miss Chanel, are you there?
I'm here. Classic, can you hear me?
Let's see if we can get your volume up a little bit. I can barely hear you.
I turned it up on my end as well. I don't know if that helps, but I turned it up on my end too.
That's it. We got
Okay.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being able to join us today. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and talk about how our small businesses can access procurement opportunities with the port.
Thank you, Classy. I'll just talk about our website. I'm sorry, I don't have slides prepared, but all of our opportunities are placed on our website. We actually handle projects for Port of New Orleans and the New Orleans Public Belt. Our website web addresses are placed in the chat with portnola.com and railnola.com. There's a procurement tab on each that gives details on all of our projects. Currently for the New Orleans Public Belt, we have projects out for air brake valves, for the procurement of air brake valves. And we have a construction project for Pier 1 and 2 fenders for the Huey P. Long Bridge. For the Port of New Orleans, we have procurement of diesel fuel, elevator and escalator maintenance and repair. We have a couple of construction projects, the Nashville Avenue Terminal Complex for cranes 4 and 5. And all of these projects are listed on our website, www.portnola.com and www.railnola.com. We have several upcoming opportunities for both the port and the public belt. For the port, we have a security guard services that's upcoming. We have Nashville Terminal Fire Pump Relocation and Drench Repair, Nashville, again for the Nashville Terminal. For the public belt, we have unseasoned lumber that is upcoming, French Yard expansion, and West Bridge Diamond replacements. So quite a few things coming up. You can register as a vendor on both websites, portnola.com and railnola.com. And you can also email us at procurement@portnola.com or procurement@railnola.com if you'd like any information on the projects. And that is pretty much it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm glad that you brought up railnola.com because I think that a lot of our DB community may not realize that there are additional opportunities through RailNola as well, through the public belt. And so I'm so glad that you were here to share that information and to make sure that our businesses connect with you all. Listen, procurement at portnola.com, they send out information regularly on their upcoming bid opportunities. So there is no shortage of opportunities. And so we want to make sure that our DBEs understand that they should be a part of your business development strategy, right? So please make sure that you sign up and register with them and gain access to those opportunities. So thank you again, Miss Chanel. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you? It's so good to see you.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. So glad
That's great.
to have you here with us. So this is Mr. Jonathan Temple. He's the Director of Business Partnerships for NOLA Public Schools. So glad to have him here with us to talk about the procurement opportunities that are available and to introduce you guys to how you can gain access to these procurement opportunities. So glad to be working with you again in this space to make sure that our firms that we work with have access to these opportunities. So glad, and take it away.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I want to say thank you for being online this long. It lets us know just how hungry you guys are for work. And there's a lot of work, as you can see, coming forth through various pipelines. I'm excited to see that there's a lot of opportunities for DBE businesses. So within my camp, let's go to the first slide. I want to first just say that give you some tips for successful procurement. I won't harp on everything within this page. You guys know Title 38 or Title 39, how to procure, how do we procure as an agency. Our website is www.nolapublicschools.com. The link is there for you guys to use. Please copy, paste, save it as one of your favorites. I want to talk about some of the reasons that people don't get opportunities with us, and the proper term is non-responsive. We see this very often whenever DBEs or non-DBEs are bidding on a lot of our projects. Either A, they're not submitting the proper documentation through invitations to bid or instructions to bidders, and we have to kick it out. Another thing is that sometimes companies, they add more information than what we're asking for, which then hikes up their price, which means that we have to kick it out. The most common thing that I'm always noticing is failure to acknowledge addendums. That's one thing that a lot of agencies may not talk about, but we see it quite often. It's always that last addendum that may happen 72 hours before bid date that someone's not paying attention to. And unfortunately, even though they're the low bidder, they did not acknowledge the addendum. So that's the biggest elephant in our room. Sometimes we see misspelling of dollar values. You know, you may have $440,000 on a bid, and you may put $440 on it in terms of the number. And if it doesn't sync, we have to throw it out. Yes, the contractor's mad. We're just equally as mad. We put in a lot of time into putting this procurement out, but we have to follow state law. And then one of the things that we sometimes, unfortunately, we have some contractors who think that DBE programs and small business programs just don't matter. Where at NOLA Public Schools, we think that DBE provisions and DBE businesses, for that matter, we hold them in high regard. And therefore, if you're not serious about doing business with small businesses, then you're not serious about doing business with Orleans Parish Public Schools. Next slide. I want to talk about these are some of the procurement forecasts that we're having for the upcoming year. This is as it relates to construction projects through our facilities teams. Here are listed 10 projects that'll be coming out shortly. For instance, HVAC on-call services. We're going to be looking for a team to basically, and whenever we have a school that has more than $10,000 in damages, our team gets activated to procure this. And we're looking for 1 or 2 firms to supply these needs for about at least 40 schools. We have some renovation projects coming about. pest control, termite, boiler replacements, water intrusions. As everyone knows, we've just had a major hurricane. About 40 of our schools have been damaged. So there will be a lot of procurements coming out that have actually started a month ago, that every other week we're having solicitations looking for opportunities. The sweet spot with this is that a lot of these opportunities, the cost estimates are under $250,000. So that means, according to state law, we just have to get quotes. That's where you guys are very essential. A lot of times, my project managers and my inspectors, we're sending out quotes to a lot of DBE businesses according to those trades. It could be roofing. A lot of times it's roofing. It could be water intrusion. It could be mechanical. It could be electrical. At the end of the day, my job is to make certain that at least, if we're looking for 5 bidders, 3 of those 5 are DBE bidders. I want to challenge you to basically respond. Show up at the pre-bid meetings, ask questions, but most importantly, respond. And if you can't, and if you're not going to respond, just send us an email letting us know you're not going to bid. Next slide, please. For materials and supplies, you can see a lot of, I wanted to focus on nutrition regarding this. We're going to start that solicitation process in the spring so that we can make certain we have our vendors ready before July 1st for the new fiscal year to supply these types of foods and services to our children in schools. Next slide. Professional services. We have some things that are current that we're going to be soliciting. Right now, we have a solicitation for redistricting consulting services. Pretty soon, we'll be putting out an RFP for risk management services, maintenance services, speech therapy, physical therapy services, occupational therapy services, and architectural and design services. I want to talk a little bit with respect to architectural design services. About 3 years ago, I noticed that we didn't have a lot of DBE representation in this. We had about 10 designers from different architectural firms, and only 1 or 2 were DBE. Well, now we have about 25, and I'm happy to say that 35% of them are DBE firms. So the program does work, but it works if you respond to the solicitations at the end of the day. I can't say that more than enough, especially with the schools that have been affected by the hurricane. Over 1/3 of the design team that's designing how to repair these schools are DBE firms. You know, that's very rare in our community that we see these firms getting an opportunity to provide new schools and the way those schools look by firms that look like us. Next slide, please. Since I've come aboard this team, these are basically fruits of labor. Every year we've managed to have 30% or more of DBE participation regarding any of our advertised projects. Next slide. Since 2018, again, 33% of DBE participation has been awarded on 41 construction projects. During these past few years, we've awarded approximately 150 contracts to DBE prime and subcontractors. 10 of those subcontractors, 10 of those vendors are prime DBE primes. A lot of times, because we have basically opened that door of opportunity through providing contracts and various services that are less than $250,000, DBE vendors have been very successful in winning those bids or requests for quotes. And I want to also say that 40% of our DBE vendors have participated on multiple construction projects. So we have been able to provide sustainability throughout the DBE community as well. Final slide. Again, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for basically sitting through this entire webinar. My name again is Jonathan Temple, Director of Business Partnerships. This is my contact information. The best way to get in contact with me and my fellow colleagues is via email. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone too. I know it's a long session. Maybe next year we'll break it up. It's just, it's wonderful though, because we're able to connect our businesses with a number of different primes and agencies, to support their business development plans. So I appreciate you, you guys as well for sitting in on this event. I want to say again, thank you to you, Jonathan, and your team. I haven't seen Miss Barbara in a long time, but please give her greetings from myself and the Urban League of Louisiana. It's good to know that the DBE program is in your hand. And so I'm so glad, looking forward to anything that we can do to support you in the new year. So please, let's stay connected.
Thank you. And I just want to say real quickly, thank you to your team as well. Throughout the years, Frank Johnson has been very, very good at helping DBEs, especially with the bid estimation process. His process definitely works. And I hope that you guys continue to bring that to the forefront of what you're doing regarding technical service, because it's definitely needed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So let me stop really quickly. Brittany, do we have any questions or comments in the chat that we need to address before we move on to our RTA?
A lot of the questions were offline, but we did get one comment from Norman who said, "This is an awesome presentation. I will be very active in getting my business off the ground." So we have a lot of positive feedback in the comment section.
That's great. Great to hear, Norman. Thank you for saying that. And, one of the things, and I'll reiterate this at the close of the program, is that I want to see our DBE firms I want you guys to be thinking about your business development strategy, and first and foremost, who within your organization is going to be leading it in 2022 and beyond. If you don't have someone that's focused on business development right now, and by business development, I mean looking at opportunities in the market, both locally, regionally, potentially nationally, but looking at who you want to do business with, looking at your capacity, looking at, who are those primes that you need to connect with? Who are those government agencies that you want to connect with? Who do you want to do business with? And developing a strategy around that to connect with those organizations so that you can, again, prepare yourself and position yourself to bid and then win. And so, again, I'm challenging all of you to develop your business development strategy and identify who in your organization is going to lead that effort. And so, again, when we talk about, and Jonathan, I love at the top of his presentation, he talked about some of the things that they see on their end that are challenges where you have to throw out a bid because it's not in compliance, or it's providing too much information, not the right information, not acknowledging addendums. There's a number of things that will just take you out of the game right before you even start. But that's why we need to pay attention to detail. We need to have somebody focused on preparing your bids and preparing for these opportunities. And so again, I'm glad that we're able to learn as a part of this process as well, that we gotta step it up. We gotta make some changes to how we do business, and we gotta do business the right way so that we're getting in bids that can at least have an opportunity, to win, have a chance to win. And so again, I'm thank Jonathan and his team for that. Next up, I'm sorry, Mr. Adonis, how you doing? Are you there? Let's see.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Hey, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Doing well. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Is this your first slide?
That's fine. The other one just said Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. This is fine right here.
I'm just not sure. I think something happened with my presentation, but if anything's missing, I'll fix it. So
okay, this is good.
So take it away. Thanks so much for being here. So we have Mr. Adonis Expose, who's the DBE SBE Liaison Officer at the Regional Transit Authority. So happy to be working with him. So happy to have him here today to share information on the RTA and their upcoming procurement opportunities. And then again, how to connect to those opportunities and how to connect to his office. So thank you so much, Adonis, for being here, and take it away.
All right, thank you for having me. The Regional Transit Authority has over $35 million in open contracts for the capital program, and we're anticipating spending more dollars on upcoming projects within the next 6 to 9 months. To ensure that disadvantaged and small businesses have access to the opportunity these projects afford, it was important that we provide this information on RTA's DBE program and make you aware of the current and upcoming projects. I'm just going to go over a few slides about DBE program, and then some slides regarding our procureware, how you register to be on our procureware system, and then some current projects, and then some future projects here at RTA. What is the DBE Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program? I'm not going to go into this too much. The LADOTD, Ms. Paula Roddy, we are one of the certified agencies with the DOTD. I know she touched upon this. So the RTA receives funding from the FTA and therefore must adhere to 49 CFR Part 26. The Regional Transit Authority, we set a 3-year DBE participation goal of 30% for fiscal years 2020 to 2022. The overall DBE goal reflects staff's determination of the level of DBE participation, which would be expected absent the effects of discrimination. And I want to say our next submission for fiscal year 2023 to 2025 is due next August 2022. We will be developing a DBE goal in April and May of next year, and we'll have a public hearing in June of 2022 to discuss our goals for 2023 to 2025. Next slide. For DBE certification, what is the RTA DBE certification program? The state of Louisiana has developed the Unified Certification Program, the LAUCP. The purpose of the DBE certification is to ensure that only small businesses independently owned and controlled in both substance and form by one or more socially and economically disadvantaged persons participate in the LAUCP DBE program. As a certifying agency, the RTA is responsible for determining and certifying the eligibility of businesses seeking to participate as DBEs on federally assisted transportation-related contracts. So there are 3 certified agencies. It's the LADOTD, the airport, and the Regional Transit Authority. We're the 3 certified agencies for the LAUCP. Next slide. How do I become DBE certified? Your company may qualify for LAUCP DBE certification through the RTA if your firm is at least 51% owned by a socially and economically disadvantaged individual. To be considered economically disadvantaged, the individual's personal net worth, not including your primary place of residence, cannot exceed $1.32 million in compliance with the 49 CFR Part 26.67. Your firm has to be a small business that meets the SBA size standard and does not exceed 26.29 million in gross receipts. The disadvantaged owner has to be a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident of the United States, and your firm is organized as a for-profit business. Next slide. What is the DBE certification process? We need to complete the DOT Uniform DBE certification application and the PNW Personal Network Statement. Gather all supported documentations and submit it here to the DBE office here at RTA. Next slide. You go to our website, www.norta.com, and click on small business and DBE, and you can get all the information on the certification process. And this is just a checklist that you would need, the uniform certification application supporting documents checklist that you would need for that. So now we're going to procurement for prime contractors and subcontracting. Next slide. I am DB certified now, so how do I do business with RTA? First, register through our Preparedness system, where you can review available RTA solicitations. You can submit any questions through our Preparedness system regarding any particular project, and consider RTA capital projects, professional services, and suppliers. Next slide. What should we know about procurement? First, you need to go and register on our Preparedness system. In order for you to know about our upcoming projects, once you register in our Preparedness system, you will get an email for any particular projects that come up pertaining to your company. Next slide. To register for access to the Preparedness system, just go to norta.preparedness.com and log in to that page. Once you send your email, will send directly to you in order to complete the company's registration in the RTA Preparedness system. You complete everything regarding your company, and once you're registered, you will send an email to verify your email address, and just follow the instructions. Again, complete the registration. You put in your company, fill out all the required fields, and click on the insert button to save entry, and so forth and so on. Next slide. So this is very important in completing registration. You put in your next category. That's a North American Industry Classification System code categories are used to define the projects and services that your company provides. So it's very necessary that you put in your next codes, because that's how you're able to get an email regarding any of our upcoming projects. It goes by your next codes, and you will get an email and use it matching any bid opportunities with the vendors that provide relevant products and services. So it's very important that you enter your next codes so you can be aware of the upcoming opportunities. Again, you complete the registration, you upload any documents that you have. Next slide. The RTA department encourages all vendors to register with our Preparedness system, and click on the solicitations tab where you will see all of our solicitations. And also, if any prime contractors are looking for any subs, you can go to the LAUCP directory, and you can see many of our certified vendors, companies. If you any of our prime contractors that need subcontractors in any of the categories. Next slide. So here at RTA, the agency's 2021 priorities. We talk about world-class right experience, innovations, regional connections, equity, and workforce development. Our current procurement that's out for the solicitation right now, we have IFB 2021-033, that's for switch tongues. We have solicitation for some dump trucks, welding truck unit, and this particular Napoleon facility renovation and upgrade. We are seeking qualified licensed contractors to bid on this project. Actually, in next slide, this project, the bid opening is actually on Tuesday at 11 a.m. The scope is to stabilize the exterior envelope. Bids are due on Tuesday. Bid opening is due on Tuesday, and anticipation completion for this project is the first quarter of 2023. This has been out a few times. We had a walkthrough probably a month ago, and so any vendors interested, the bid opening is Tuesday, December 14th at 11 a.m. Next slide. This is upcoming project. So the Algiers Point Ferry Terminal. Next slide. Solicitation design firm is, we're looking at January, the schedule for this project, looking to solicitate for a design firm January 2022. Looking at doing a notice to proceed for the design firm in March 2022, and procure this project from between September and December of 2022. And construction, looking at doing the notice to proceed in January 2023 and completing the project December 2023. Another project that's coming up is the Lower Algiers Ferry Terminal. The scope is looking to replace the car ferry landing at the Lower Algiers Ferry Landing. Next slide. The schedule for this project, looking to solicit a design firm in January 2022, looking at doing a notice to proceed for the design firm in March 2022, looking to procure it September to December 2022, and looking at doing a notice to proceed for construction in January 2023, and looking to complete that project in December 2023. Next slide. Another project, non-advertising shelters. The scope is to purchase and install 16 new non-advertising shelters. The status of this project, the AE firm has been released to complete this and design construction packages for the 16, and another 10 will be released soon. Next slide. The schedule for this project, the design firm that's been selected, notice to proceed has been done. Looking to procure for January 2022 and doing the notice to proceed for construction on 2022, and hopefully to complete this project by May 2022. Another project is the interim downtown transit center. The scope is we're looking to relocate the interim downtown transfer center from Duncan Plaza to the main library. So yeah, okay, next slide. So the schedule for that project, we did solicit for a design firm in November last month, and a notice to proceed for a design firm in next month, January 2022. And looking to procure, would it be on call from February 2022, and construction notice to proceed going out February 2022, and looking to complete that project April 2022. So that's all we have at this point. The contact information is on the screen. I'm Adonis Expose, the Dbe SBA liaison officer. We have Ms. Keziah Lee Cawthorn. She's the Dbe program administrator. She handled all of the certifications. And we have the contract administrator, Brianna Howes, and the director of procurement and grants, Mr. Ronald Baptiste. So all of our contact information is on the screen.
That's awesome, Adonis. Thank you so much. And that's all, but that's a lot. That's a lot of opportunities.
I was trying to go through it fast. So I know you were here because of time.
I appreciate it, but we're going to make sure that everybody gets the slides and can see the opportunities, but most importantly, go to your site, right?
Correct.
So, we got to get our businesses connected. So we're looking forward to working with you and making sure that our businesses are connected to your opportunities. And so thank you so much for this. And thank you so much for, your willingness to connect with us. I know this is a long event, but I'm telling you, there's value, all right, in making sure that businesses understand in the way forward what they need to do. Before we move on, I just want to say we're running short on time. We have about 5 minutes left, but we have about 3 presentations left. No worries. If you have to leave, we're going to make sure that we record this and make it available to you guys. We'll probably break it up so that, we'll have different segments recorded for you to see. But so stay tuned for that if you are unable to stay. But thank you so much for being here. If you can stay, please stay on with us to hear the last couple of presentations. And up next, we have Kevin Fitzwilliam, a training and development specialist for the Aptum Group for the Energy Smart program. So happy to have you here, Kevin. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys are doing to support the Energy Smart program here in the New Orleans area. Looking forward to all the work that we're going to be doing in 2022. So I wanted to give an opportunity to share more about the program, and you can take it away.
Sure, thanks, Classy. So yeah, my name is Kevin Fitzwilliam with the Energy Smart program, the energy efficiency program through Entergy New Orleans. And I'll be talking about two programs today. As you see in the text at the subheader of this slide, I'm going to describe the Energy Smart program, which is for the city of New Orleans, and of course the utility Entergy New Orleans, and the Entergy Solutions program, which is for all of the Entergy territory outside of New Orleans, so the Entergy Louisiana territory. Next slide.
Is this the slide?
Yes. Sorry, I wasn't sure if there was a delay, but so here's our objectives. You know, these two programs are set in place to help customers and to help contractors. The customers that we help are homeowners, they're commercial and industrial business owners, and the programs help to reduce electric bills. First of all, they help the city and the rest of the state to reduce overall energy and to reduce the amount of emissions. There's benefits all around. And the programs directly help electrical contractors. So at the heart of the program is a pot of money. That is the incentive pot that is available for either one of these two programs. And that enables the homeowners and the commercial customers to adopt energy efficient technology and appliances. So when customers have an incentive to do that, whether it's to upgrade to LED lighting or to get a new air conditioning system or building automation and whatever it may be, these incentives allow them to be able to do that work. And then of course, we need contractors to be able to do the work. So in the Energy Smart program, we work with our trade allies. There are over 100 trade allies on the commercial section just alone. So the programs offer training opportunities on topics like sales training and technical skills. Next slide. The map that you see here shows all of the Entergy territory in Louisiana. Back to the map. The Entergy Louisiana is the largest electricity provider in the state. And so as you can see here, all of the green scattered all throughout the state, whereas obviously Entergy New Orleans is in the city of New Orleans, Orleans Parish. So two separate utilities. One thing to remember with those is, you know, these are served by two different utilities, so it's two different programs and thus two different pots of money. Entergy New Orleans is regulated by the City Council of New Orleans. Entergy Louisiana is regulated in Baton Rouge by the Public Service Commission. So two separate utilities. The customer's electric bill is the best way to confirm whether they're a customer of Entergy Louisiana or of Entergy New Orleans. And so here, and that's fine on the next slide. Here are some of the categories of the incentives that are offered in either program. So both programs have what we call a prescriptive list of incentive. That means that there are dollar values that are attached to each type of measure. A measure or meaning a type of upgrade to a more efficient technology. Take lighting, for example. If an electrician was to walk a building and to see that there are a lot of 4-foot fluorescent tubes, each one of those tubes or lamps has a dollar value that is attached to it. That's the prescriptive incentive and found on the prescriptive list. And so that's just one example, but you could scroll through that prescriptive list and see dollar values that are attached to upgrades in air conditioning. Refrigeration could be strip curtains or gaskets. For air conditioning, it could be installing a new air conditioner. It could be doing an air conditioning tune-up, motors, pumps. So whether it's refrigeration, air conditioning, lighting, and other categories, those are going to be found on that list. Anything that is not on that list with a dollar value that is attached to it still can be incentivized if it is equipment or technology that reduces electricity. So for instance, we have a lot of engineering firms that do building automation technology, you know, controlling the large pieces of equipment on top of the convention center and hotels and hospitals and so on. And that's software that controls the settings and the sensors. That's all incentivized at what we call our custom incentives. So both programs have prescriptive and custom incentives. You do need to be insured and licensed to be able to come on and be a trade ally. And registering as a trade ally is easy. It's filling out a form stack and doing an onboarding with either me in the Energy Smart program in New Orleans or Michelle or one of her colleagues in the Entergy Solutions program for the rest of the state. And so we would walk you through that, and we do require an annual re-enrollment. and just adherence to basic regulations and quality control for our trade allies. The benefits are aplenty. We offer training for trade allies on different topics in sales and technical. We contract with an engineering firm that provides training in things like new construction, retro commissioning, introduction to energy audits. So we do training that's based on different, and that's really just on the commercial side. We'll do training specific to residential contractors as well. And so these benefits are scattered throughout the entire year. You're also listed on our website as one of the trade allies, as a place where customers can find on our website your company as a potential contractor that they would want to hire to do some of the work that we're talking about and provide those incentives. So our job is to get you prepped to be able to incorporate these incentives into your sales process. Just think of this as the bottom line on one of your proposals, showing your contract and all of your bid prices, and then with a line item that says the Energy Smart incentive, for example, if you're on the commercial side. And so that's what we get you ready to do, how to communicate about this program, how to understand what the funding is, if there's a bonus in place, what's the difference between prescriptive and custom. We take care of that for you. We're always here for you. The program also has, so I work mainly on the commercial side, but there are different colleagues that work specifically on the residential side of the program. So the programs serve residential customers all throughout the state. And for the residential programs, we're looking for contractors that work specifically with residential customers and provide services listed on this slide, including weatherization and HVAC maintenance. And so in order to participate as a residential trade ally, we have a minimum requirement for insurance, licenses, and certification. And generally, we require a mechanical license and EPA universal certificate to do any of the work with HVAC units. For the weatherization work like duct sealing and air sealing and energy assessments, we require a contractor's license and a BPI or Building Performance Institute certification. And just as there were benefits on the commercial side, there's specific benefits to the residential trade allies. Again, the term trade ally, that's our contractors that do work with the program. You get listed on the website, you get tiered as to, depending upon your level of participation in the program, free training from the program, marketing support, and that goes both in commercial or residential, help in marketing your company and marketing your relationship with Energy Smart. And then specifically on the residential side, you actually do receive leads. That's one of the big differences between the two sides of the program. So we can go into more detail about these benefits on either the residential or the commercial side. The big point take home is you'll see on the next slide, you have contact information for both myself and Michelle. Again, I work on the Entergy New Orleans program called Energy Smart. Michelle is on the Entergy Louisiana program called Entergy Solutions. Whether you are a residential contractor or a commercial contractor, we will be the point person to get you prepped to incorporate these incentives into your sales process. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you and the team in 2022 to make sure that we are increasing the number of trade allies and increasing these opportunities for our commercial and residential businesses and individuals and families within our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Mr. Sylvester Johnson with New Corp. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for being here. Sorry that we are running behind schedule. We have a number, we've had so many wonderful presenters today, and I hope, are you still there?
I am still here.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. Going to let you take it away and share with our DBEs about the wonderful Build NOLA Mobilization Fund.
Thank you, Classy. It's been an unbelievable opportunity to actually listen to all the panelists today. I appreciate you guys for everything that you do, and Classy, the Urban League has put on a wonderful event today. So I want to congratulate you guys. I'll be brief, but I think what I'm going to discuss is very important. The importance of having capital available to our DBE partners so that they can perform on the jobs that they win is going to be one of the most important things that we can offer to our DBE partners in order to affect their performance. The Bill Nolan Mobilization Fund is a fund that was created in conjunction with the city, and Nucorp has been doing its best to push the program out to our DBE clients and any of their DBE colleagues that have interest in performing on larger scale projects, but are worried about cash flow issues as they wait for their pay apps and invoicing to get paid. The fund is a little different than other funding sources. It's unique. It is not a line of credit, not traditionally anyway, and it is not a factoring program that a lot of our DBEs get caught up with some predatory lenders. So we have funds available for DBEs that are working on projects with contractors that have agreed to participate in the program, that funds their invoices as the pay apps are approved by the general contractors. So once the pay app is submitted and the general contractors approve that pay app, the general contractors can send that pay app to our offices to a designated email address, and the DBEs can be funded within 5 days of receipt of that approved pay application. Now, that's the program and how it operates in a nutshell. There are some complications, I guess not complications, but there are some additional information that we like to go through with both our DBEs and our GCs. Many of the GCs that presented earlier, the primes, Landis, McDonald Group, Woodward, Bow, they have gone through our info sessions and are part of the program. So they have agreed to both receive these pay apps and send them to Nucorp, and issue joint checks between the DBE and Nucorp so that those advances can be paid back. So you have the opportunity to do these jobs, be funded once your invoice is approved, and use that funding for payroll, use that funding for materials, and keep the job going without the need to wait for the pay application to be funded by the GC. Now, the funding is a loan, so it's project-based financing. It does have a fixed simple interest at 8%. That interest does not compound, so approximately every 30 days, you're looking at 2/3 of a percentage point in interest on your invoices. All of this is gone over in an info session, an information session that we do for any DBE that is interested, and any GC that wants to be a part of the program. And listening to these GCs that I heard today, everybody is really supportive of the DBEs and the mentorship programs that are put in place to try to increase capacity and to try to increase the success rate of our DBE subs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my email and information in the chat so that any DBE that is interested in the program can reach out to me. I can send out a quick, brief information packet, and we are doing information sessions standard every Thursday, but at 6 o'clock. The information session takes between 30 and 45 minutes. We go over the program in detail, go over everything that you need to get done, and answer any questions that our DBE partners may have. The GCs that were on the call earlier, everyone who has not been contacted or is not participating in the program, I will also drop you a line just so you guys will know what the program is, and hopefully we can sit down together and talk a little bit about the program and how it works with the general contractors, perform a little bit of a GC information session for you guys, and hopefully get you on board to support your DBE trade partners, to support their growth and their success. It's a program that is unique in its funding ability. There is no limit on the amount of funding that can be received, as long as the invoices will support those funds. So if a DBE has $1.8 million in their contract, that full $1.8 million can be funded. So I am hopeful that this falls on interested ears. I am hopeful that I'm able to connect with all the DBEs and hopeful DBEs that are on the call. Get you guys into your own info session or into one of the scheduled info sessions, so that you can ask any questions and learn more about the program and understand we are here to support you and hopefully increase your capacity and ability to take on the jobs that are going to be available during 2022. We feel like it's going to be a big year for the disadvantaged business enterprise, and we want to be right there along with you, helping you to reach the next level as you go into 2022 and beyond. Thank you to the Urban League, and I'm sure that and hopeful that we will be able to discuss a little bit more of this, so we can be a tool and a partner to subs and general contractors in this manner, so that jobs will continue to get done on budget and on time. So I want to thank you, Classy, for having us. And again, I'm going to drop my information here in the chat, so that anyone who is interested can reach out to me, and I can send out an invite to our Google Meet, our standing Google Meet on at 6 o'clock on Thursdays. Come listen, hear about the program, even if you're not using it. Be armed with the information, because the information is important. Thank you again, Classy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sylvester, and thank you for sharing with us about this dynamic program. I want to thank you for sharing that this is going to be, I expect it to be a big year for our DBE community. And so we are looking forward to working with you all to get our businesses access to this funding opportunity. So thank you so much to you and the team. Up next, last but not least, Mr. Wine, are you there? Thank you so
yes,
much.
I'm here.
Thank you so much for bearing with us today. I'm so glad that we are going to, be able to share the information about True Fund Financial Services as well as a funding opportunity for our DBEs, and just wanted to allow you some time to share information about who you guys are and what you do. And so thank you so much for being here. I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to come and speak to everybody. So I appreciate the invitation, Classy. So I know we're at the very end and we're over time, so I'm gonna be very quick. So let's start whirling through it. So my name is Juan Nathan. I'm a business development officer with True Fund Financial Services. Next slide. And I'm really passionate about the work that we do in the community. We pretty much help business owners find creative ways to access capital for their business. So we're a lending company. We're a part of the CDFI consortium here in New Orleans. So we also operate alongside Newcourt and Live Fund and Hope Federal Credit Union. Next slide. I've been working in finance for 10 years. I've spent, half of that time working as a financial advisor and then the other half working as a business banker. So my background is in big banks. So I've worked at banks such as Capital One, Wells Fargo, and Chase. Next slide. And True Fund's mission is to help historically disadvantaged individuals and communities create thriving and resilient small businesses and entrepreneurial ecosystems in order to close racial and economic disparities and ensure an inclusive and equitable society. Next slide. And a few fun things about us: we're a CDFI, which means we're a community development financial institution. We're a nonprofit. We're a mission-based organization. We're also certified by the U.S. Treasury. And our goal is to really build long-term relationships with our clients. Next slide. And we support our mission through access to capital. So we have multiple loan funds that are available right now for businesses like yours. We have the Southern Opportunity and Resiliency Fund, and we also have the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund, scroll down. Next slide, please. I'm going to skip this part. We're going to talk about how to successfully access capital, but you know, I know Classy said she would share all of the slides at the end. So feel free to review it whenever you guys receive a copy of it. So just scroll down to True Fund Products. All right. So I'm just going to close out real quickly. This is a popular loan fund that we're promoting right now. It's called the SOAR Loan Fund, the Southern Opportunity and Resiliency Fund. This particular fund is for businesses that were affected by COVID. So in order to qualify for SOAR, you have to have fewer than 50 employees, have annual revenues of less than 5 million, and have to attest to experiencing direct economic disruption due to COVID-19. The way this loan fund works, if you had a really good 2019, because obviously that was the year before COVID, but 2020 was a difficult year. You may not have made money, or you may have taken a loss. We can actually look at your financials from 2019 to cash flow you for this loan. It's a very quick underwriting process, and we only use your business income and debt to ascertain debt service. Underwriting is really quick. So I had one application that came in on a Tuesday. We had them approved by a Thursday, and we had them funds out by that next Monday. So it's a really quick underwriting process. I'm managing the SOAR fund, so any loan that goes through SOAR, it actually comes through me in New Orleans or Georgia. So if you guys were interested in applying, I'm going to share the Connected Capital website in the chat, and you can actually go there to start the application or filling out the job form. Whenever you're filling out the job form, it'll ask you a series of questions, and at the very end, it'll ask you to match with the lender. If you're interested in working with TrueFund, just select TrueFund as the lender. Next slide. The Wisdom Fund is another great fund that we offer. It provides capital to women-owned businesses. For this particular loan fund, we can work with business that have only been in business for 1 year or have 1 year of financials. We could do loan amounts between 50 and 250, and generally the terms are between 5 years. Principal and interest payments. We can also factor in a 6 months to 1 year interest only period as well, and the interest rate ranges from 8 to 10%. Next slide, please. And we also have a suite of products called the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund, specifically designed for minority-owned businesses. This business loan is for businesses that have been around for at least 2 years, can provide at least 2 years financials. We can do loan amounts of up to 250. We can give you lower loan payments by amortizing the loan payments over 10 years, but it's a 7-year term. So if you feel like you can pay the loan off early, but just need some wiggle room within payments, the first few years, we can actually lower your payments by giving you payments over 10 years. If at the end of the 7-year term, the loan isn't paid off, you may have a balloon payment if you haven't fully paid it off. And we can also amortize it in 7 years as well, whichever works for the client. Next slide. And I'm gonna spend a little bit of time talking about this one. This is our one of our capstone loan products that we're working on. It's called the Commercial Real Estate Loan Fund. It's for businesses that want to purchase their own space. The commercial real estate must be owner occupied, so the business must occupy at least 50% of that space. The business has to have at least 4 years of financials. We could do loan amounts up to 5 million for this particular loan fund. And the way it works is we'll amortize your payments over 25 years, but it's a 5-year note. At the end of the 5-year note, you can do one of 3 things. You can make a balloon payment to pay off the loan. You can refinance it at a lower rate with another institution, or you can extend the loan term with TrueFund. The interest rate is 6.75%. One thing that's out on the slide that's really interesting about this particular loan fund is that we're offering 90% loan to value. If you go to a bank loan, they'll typically give you 60 to 70% loan to value, which means that you'll have to come up with a 20 to 30% down payment. This particular loan fund, we're only asking for a 10% down payment. Additionally, we're starting a program in 2022 called the WRAP program, where we'll give you an additional 5% down, so your down payment would go down to 5%. So this is something that we're actively looking for clients for. So if your business is in a space where you're ready to purchase your own commercial real estate, and your business is going to occupy it, feel free to reach out as well. Next slide. And we can go through that one. And that's pretty much it. So for sake of time, I kind of sped through it a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to drop in the chat the website to connect to Capital, and I'll also drop my my personal information. So if you guys want to reach out, feel free. Thanks so much, class.
Great. That's a great one, because I think that what's so important is that our businesses know about these programs, and so this is just another opportunity to create awareness. This is to everyone. We share information through our DOTD newsletter, and so we've been able to share the SOAR program in a couple of newsletters. So again, please feel free to reach out to us to connect our businesses to the opportunities that your organization provides. So thank you so much, Juan. Thank you to the True Fund team for your support and for always being available to provide this information to our businesses. So that is it for today's session. This concludes our Opportunities Outlook 2022. So glad to have had all of our presenters, the organizations, the primes, the government agencies, the funders, available to share information with you all, with our DBE community on the opportunities that they have available coming up in the next year, and some beyond that. This is a session that we put together I want to say in 2017 or 18, we had the first one, but we will do this annually. We want to make sure that you continue to get access to resources, but this is just the start, right? Consider this as the start to the new year. We will be hosting a number of sessions throughout the year to provide you with access to this type of information so that you can remain diligent and to get focused on your business development opportunities. To connect with us, I encourage you to become a client if you are not already a client, and you can do that by emailing us at dbesupport@urbanleaguela.org. That's dbesupport@urbanleaguela.org, so that you can get connected to a business advisor, so that we can start you with the process of developing your business development process and other capacity building, coaching and training that we know you're going to need to be successful. So please reach out to us. Again, I want to thank everyone that presented today. I want to thank Frank and Brittany for being here to support this effort today. And with that, I hope that you all enjoyed the holidays. I hope that your families remain safe, as we are still in a COVID environment, but please make sure that you remain safe and diligent, and happy holidays to you all, and thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, everyone, just as Ms. Classy said, you will be directed to a brief survey once this session ends. Please make sure to give us your input so that we can implement your suggestions as best as we can. As an additional reminder, the presentation will be sent out to all attendees, so please do not worry. We thank you for attending today and hope you join us on future webinars. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Friday and happy holidays.